This page is the cover of SEGA Saturn magazine, and it's packed with exciting news. It's shouting about continuous big releases for the SEGA Saturn to them. The main highlights seem to be around Virtua Fighter 2 New Element Pursuit, which is featured prominently at the bottom, suggesting new aspects of the game are being explored. There's a section dedicated to SEGA Sports, covering games like F1 Live Information and Hangin' 95, Hideo Nomo World Series Baseball, and J.League Pro Striker Perfect Goal. It looks like Sega is pushing their sports titles home. Another big section is titled Konami is Coming, implying Konami games are a hot topic for the Saturn right now. The page also mentions a Victor Entertainment Saturn Soft Collection as a special appendix. Down the left side, they're listing some key SEGA Saturn software. It mentions Virtua Cop, Virtua Fighter, and Vampire Hunter, which we know internationally as Darkstalkers, the Night Warriors. There's also a note about SNK games being ported to Saturn, Sakura Wars, and 3x3 Eyes. Further down, it lists more newest software, such as Dragon Force, Guardian Heroes, Shin Megami Tensei, Devil Summoner, Virtua Racing Saturn, Paku Paku Animal, Quo Vadis, Mobile Suit Gundam, and Battle Arena Toshinden S. It's quite a lineup of games being showcased on this cover. The next page showcases Hideo Nomo World Series Baseball. This game is being heavily promoted, with the tagline, "No doubt," emphasizing its quality for this autumn. The page features a large image of Hideo Nomo in action, pitching in his Dodgers uniform. It highlights that it's an official MLB licensed game, as shown by the MLB and MLB players' logos, alongside Nomo's personal logo. The game is announced for release in November and will cost 5,800 yen. It definitely seems like Sega is pushing this sports title, just as previewed on the previous page with their Sega Sports lineup. This page is continuing the Sega Sports theme from the previous page and features two games. At the top, it's promoting a baseball game that's described as a renewal of Greatest 9, now in a large league edition. It emphasizes powerful and speedy Major League Baseball and boasts all 28 Major League teams and players with up-to-date 95 season data, promising realistic playoffs and World Series action. Below this, the page heavily promotes Victory Goal under the Sega Sports banner. It's proclaiming "Stand at the summit of all 12 nations" and introducing Sega International Victory Goal. This is described as a renewed Victory Goal game set on a world stage in an international tournament format. It highlights improvements like enhanced AI, strategic depth, and realistic game balance, along with impactful sound effects and music, even including national anthems for winning teams to enhance the atmosphere. Victory Goal is slated for release on October 27th and priced at 4,800 yen. The page uses a visual of a globe surrounded by flags like England, Argentina, France, Denmark, Netherlands, Spain, and others to illustrate the international theme. We can see screenshots of both the baseball game and Victory Goal, showcasing in-game action. This page continues the Sega Sports theme by shifting gears to high-speed racing with the focus on a Formula One game. The headline boasts, "The engine roars, Saturn awakens," suggesting a powerful and immersive racing experience. The page is promoting Formula One World Championship Beyond the Limit, showcasing multiple screenshots of in-game action with cockpit views and trackside perspectives, highlighting the intensity of F1 racing. It mentions iconic circuits like Suzuka, Monte Carlo, and Hockenheim, emphasizing the game's realism and claiming your racing action is exclusively captured and broadcast by Sega, enhancing the sense of immersion. The text further details the realistic experience, describing how racers will feel the tension of managing tire wear and fuel consumption, adapting strategies on the fly. It boasts polygon graphics, promising a genuine Fly One simulation experience with teams like Williams and Tyrrell featured. The game aims to deliver a live broadcast feel with commentary by racing experts, promising world-class driving on famous international circuits. Release is set for November 2nd at a price of 5,800 yen, and it's compatible with racing controllers. The main image features close-up shots of Formula One cars, prominently displaying Benetton and McLaren teams, and logos like Renault, Nokia, and Agip, reinforcing the authentic F1 atmosphere. The page uses the F1 Live Information banner, an official Formula One World Championship FOCA logo, solidifying its status as a licensed and immersive F1 experience. This page showcases another high-speed racing game, this time switching from 4 wheels to 2 with hang-on GP95 for the SEGA Saturn. The page highlights the thrill of motorcycle racing, emphasizing smooth hang-in cornering and power slides. It mentions the game caters to both time trial enthusiasts and those wanting to compete in GP races. The text boasts realistic bike handling and rider movements, supported by advice from Keiichi Katayama. Polygon graphics are used to create 3 different viewpoints for racing. Hang-in GP95 also includes a replay feature to analyze your races and improve your skills. The game was slated for release on October 27th at a price of 5,800 yen and is compatible with the SEGA Saturn racing controller, which is also pictured on the page. The bottom of the page promotes the SEGA Saturn itself as a platform for amazing games. Screenshots give glimpses of the in-game action and the machine selection screen. This page is a full-page advert for Virtua Fighter on the Sega 32X. It's exclaiming, "EH? 32X Virtua," emphasizing the surprise and excitement of bringing Virtua Fighter to the 32X platform. The ad boasts about the 32-bit power explosion of the Super 32X and promotes it as a true Virtua Fighter experience. It mentions that it's based on the arcade and Sega Saturn versions, promising impressive action thanks to the 32X's capabilities. The text highlights that the game allows players to experience the same exciting fighting action at home as in arcades and on the Saturn. It also notes the inclusion of a tournament mode for up to 8 players. Interestingly, it points out that you can change the camera angle during gameplay, allowing for different perspectives to explore strategies and techniques. The advert also mentions the Virtua Fighter anime series is starting on October 9th, and the game itself is scheduled for release on October 20th, priced at 7,800 yen. The page showcases screenshots from the 32X version, showing polygonal characters like Akira, Law, and Jackie in action. Overall, the page is pushing Virtua Fighter on 32X as a must-have upgrade for Genesis/Mega Drive owners looking for a powerful fighting game experience. This page is another advert for Virtua Fighter on the Super 32X. Continuing the excitement from the last page about bringing this fighting game to the system, the advert asks, "Fighter can do it?" emphasizing the step up to 32-bit power with the Super 32X. It highlights the Mega World, expanding from 16-bit to 32-bit, showcasing the polygonal characters like Akira, Lao, Sarah, Jackie, and Cage in action within the game screenshots. The ad also displays the Sega Mega Drive 2 with the Super 32X add-on and controller, giving a visual representation of what's needed to experience this 32-bit version of Virtua Fighter. It also mentions the price for the Super 32X software at 16,800 yen. And reiterates that both the Super 32X and Mega Drive 2 are required to play. Essentially, this page reinforces the message of the previous advert, visually demonstrating the game and hardware, and emphasizing the upgrade to 32-bit gaming with Virtua Fighter on the Super 32X. This page is an advertisement for the Virtua Fighter CG Portrait series, specifically volumes 3 and 4, which feature Akira Yuki and Pai-chan. These are slated for release on November 10th and will cost 1,280 yen each. It mentions that these CG portraits are made by the design team behind Virtua Fighter 3. There's also a reference to the Virtua Fighter 2 image vocal album, Dancing Shadows, suggesting these portraits might be related to that too. Interestingly, they are running a raffle for 50,000 lucky customers who can win a dual item. To enter, you need to collect application tickets from the CG Portrait Series packaging. The page also previews upcoming volumes in the CG Portrait Series, showcasing volumes 1 to 10. These feature characters like Sarah Bryant, Jackie Bryant, Wolf Hawkfield, Lao Chan, Shundai, Lion Rafal, Kagemaru, and Jeffrey McWild, with release dates spanning from October, November, and into February. At the bottom, there's a reminder to grab Virtua Fighter 2 for the Sega Saturn, highlighting it as a game where heroes gather. This page is an advertisement for Masters Harukanaru Augusta 3 on the Sega Saturn. It's promoting the game as the latest and greatest golf experience on the Saturn, boasting significant graphical improvements compared to previous versions with twice the polygons. The ad highlights the enhanced visuals, mentioning realistic depictions of water surfaces, trees, and even clouds. It emphasizes the game's realism in recreating famous golf courses, with detailed environments and objects. There's a Masters Records Challenge mode mentioned, inviting players to break records from past Masters tournaments, offering a historical context to the gameplay. The bottom of the page features a SEGA Saturn controller and a gamebox image, along with the SEGA Saturn logo. The price is listed as 5,800 yen, and it says the game is on sale now, indicating it is currently available for purchase. The advertisement ends by encouraging players to try this new Masters Golf experience. This page is an advertisement showcasing a Dragon Ball Z game for the SEGA Saturn. The image is dominated by a dynamic illustration of Goku in his Super Saiyan form, clearly charging up a killy attack. The Japanese text to the right emphasizes the evolved battles and the return of the warrior's fighting spirit, perfectly capturing the essence of Dragon Ball Z. The SEGA Saturn logo is prominently displayed in the top left corner, and copyright information is at the bottom, confirming this is an advert for a Dragon Ball game on the SEGA Saturn console. Overall, it's a visually striking advertisement designed to excite fans of Dragon Ball Z and SEGA Saturn. This page is all about the upcoming Dragon Ball Z fighting game, Shin Butoden, which we know in the West as Dragon Ball Z Ultimate Battle 22, hitting the SEGA Saturn. The page is packed with screenshots showcasing the dual-screen battles, which are touted as a key feature, promising expanded battlefields and dynamic backgrounds. They highlight various game modes, including the classic World Tournament mode and a new Mr. Satan mode. The main visual is a large group shot of iconic villains like Dabura, Cell, Majin Buu, Babidi, Frieza, Nappa, and Kid Buu, emphasizing the extensive roster of 27 playable characters from the Dragon Ball Z saga. It's clearly aiming to be a massive Dragon Ball experience. The game is slated for release in November, priced at 6,800 yen. The text emphasizes it's the ultimate Dragon Ball action fighting game, with deep gameplay and a huge scale. This page showcases Konami's lineup for the SEGA Saturn, headlining with the Twin Bee Deluxe Pack. It's celebrating the 10th anniversary of the Twin Bee series, and includes both Twin Bee Yahoo and Detana. Twin Bee, bells and whistles in the West. They're calling it a deluxe pack, perfect for fans, bringing the arcade experience home, and it's currently on sale for 5,800 yen. Below that is an advert for Tokimeki Memorial Forever with You, promoting it as the ultimate romance simulation game. The SEGA Saturn version is slated for release in spring of '96, with the price still to be decided. They also mention a jigsaw puzzle game based on Tokimeki Memorial as a new release, with Volume 2, containing 6 titles, coming out in November. Finally, there's a small section at the bottom promoting Konami's SEGA Saturn software in general, and a Get the Soft campaign, although details are minimal. This page highlights Konami's Issei Meijin Shogi, which translates to something like Eternal Master Shogi. It's heavily promoting the game's versus play mode, declaring, "Versus Battle Start!" They've included screenshots showing the Shogi board gameplay interface. The advert emphasizes features like computer opponents, prediction reading function for smooth gameplay, background music and sound effects to enhance matches, and suitability for players from beginners to experts. They're really pushing it as the definitive shogi game for the SEGA Saturn, and it's currently selling out at a suggested retail price of 5,300 yen. Below this, they've got 2 more adverts. On the left, it's Powerful Pro Baseball 95 Opening Edition, being advertised as the definitive edition of professional baseball games, and currently hot selling for 5,800 yen. On the right is Parodius Da Deluxe Pack, described as the Golden Tower of funny shooting games, also exploding with laughter, and priced at 5,800 yen. At the bottom, there's a scratch-off campaign where you can win Konami SEGA Saturn software, offering 1 game as a prize. The fine print details the campaign period and various regional contact numbers. This page is a vibrant advertisement for Puyo Puyo Tsu on the SEGA Saturn. It's heavily promoting a campaign where if you buy Puyo Puyo Tsu and fill out a questionnaire, you have a chance to win a SEGA Saturn console. They're giving away Saturns to 100 lucky people every month during the campaign period. The text in the blue speech bubble emphasizes this, urging you to buy Saturn Puyo Tsu and get Puyo Saturn. The large text in red and yellow is a catchy phrase related to Puyo Puyo Tsu, likely playing on the competitive and expert aspects of the game. The whole page is very energetic and features Puyo Puyo characters in a lively and colorful style. This page is all about Puyo Puyo Tsu for the Saturn, really pushing its features. It's highlighting that this version has ramped up the variations with a full demo playback mode, beginner practice mode, and a new Tsu or expert mode for seasoned players. They are even showcasing the excitement of live events by including footage from the first ever Puyo Puyo Masters tournament. On top of that, they're releasing a single CD with the game, featuring a hot track from Tanaka Katsumi called Zuto Sobani Iru Yo / Zobini Iru Yo, and another song. It's being touted as a single release that fans have been waiting for. And the theme song is Burning Song or Netsujin Song. It's set to release in October for 4,800 yen before tax. They also mentioned a 98 version. So it looks like there's more Puyo Puyo goodness on the horizon. This page is an advertisement for the game Kyukai Tenkai Fantastic Pinball, which is coming to both Sega Saturn and PlayStation. Both versions are priced at 5,800 yen before tax. The advert highlights several key features, boasting over 100 gimmicks in the game for exciting and thrilling gameplay. They also mention that the game uses character properties in a new system to diversify the gameplay experience, and that it has high-quality sound and fantastic visuals that enhance the game's presentation. There are screenshots showcasing the pinball action, including some kind of boss battle or special stage, and the colorful anime-style characters featured in the game's artwork. The page also announces a Kyukai Tenkai high score campaign, where top players each month will receive a special prize. This page showcases the game Neketsu Oyako, a beat-em-up coming to both Sega Saturn and PlayStation. It's advertised as a super hot-blooded action showdown. The game boasts 15 stages across 5 diverse worlds, packed with clever traps. Each character is said to have unique and dramatic performances, with powerful action unfolding across the entire screen. Adding to the excitement is a best match soundtrack and impactful sound effects throughout the game. The advert features illustrations of the game's characters, including a tough-looking man with a mustache, a spirited girl with red pigtails wielding a pipe, and a younger man in a red cap. Screenshots give a glimpse of the side-scrolling action gameplay, showing characters battling enemies in varied environments. The Sega Saturn version is priced at 5,800 yen, while the PlayStation version is slightly more expensive at 6,950 yen, both before tax. Both versions are described as being highly acclaimed and on sale now. This page is a striking advertisement for the Sega Saturn game JB Herald Blue Chicago Blues. The page is dominated by a dramatic close-up of an eye, tinted in cool blue tones, reinforcing the blue in the title. Reflected in the pupil of the eye is a scene that hints at the game's mystery or thriller themes. We see a figure holding a knife in what appears to be a room. The Japanese text at the top of the page reads, "One incident, Sega Saturn," suggesting a focus on a single case within the game that is available on the Sega Saturn. The title, JB Herald Blue Chicago Blues, is prominently displayed, and the overall visual style, with red splashes near the title, adds to the suspenseful and perhaps slightly violent atmosphere of the game. At the bottom of the page, copyright information for 1994 and 1995, along with the developer, River Hill Soft Inc., and contact details are listed. This ad strongly positions Blue Chicago Blues as a thriller or mystery title for the Sega Saturn. This page is another advertisement, this time highlighting the Sega Saturn mystery adventure game, JB Herald Blue Chicago Blues. It opens with a powerful statement saying, "It is shocking." The advert describes it as a full-fledged mystery adventure game, pushing the Sega Saturn's capabilities with high-quality video and sound. It emphasizes the game's cinematic qualities, boasting about 100 minutes of live-action footage shot on location in Chicago and Hollywood over 2.5 months. The game features a cast of 29 Hollywood actors and 17 investigation locations. They're really pushing the fact it was filmed specifically for the game, with digital processing for high-quality visuals, and even has luxurious voice acting to make it feel like a movie. There's a special news section mentioning a pamphlet and a Blue Chicago Blues investigation guide limited edition that you could get. The advert also clearly states it's a Sega Saturn exclusive and currently on sale to great acclaim as a 2 candelas set for 7,800 yen. Visually, we see a classic detective silhouette and a rather grim screenshot of a deceased woman hinting at the dark nature of the mystery, alongside a shot of the in-game menu and map. Overall, it's selling Blue Chicago Blues as a high production value, movie-like mystery experience exclusive to the Sega Saturn. This page showcases the Sega Saturn game, Aquaventure, also known as Aqualis no Gotoku, or Aqualis. It's presented as a SF simulation RPG and is slated for release on December 21, 1995, at a standard price of 6,800 yen. The page features a group of 8 anime-style characters, presumably the main cast of the game, standing in front of a space scene with spaceships and a planet in the background. The tagline in Japanese at the top reads, "Why must friends fight?" The text above the characters gives a bit of the story premise, mentioning a peacekeeping allied force formed to maintain galactic peace. However, the story takes a turn as they head in an unexpected direction. It questions why comrades must fight, hinting at a tale of betrayal, dreams, and battles, and a future where friends must point their weapons at each other. It's all about the pain of parting and the wavering beliefs as a difficult future begins. The page is definitely advertising Aquaventure as a dramatic space opera RPG with a focus on character relationships and conflict. This page fully unveils the details of the SF simulation RPG called Quo Vadis. It emphasizes a deeply engaging story, calling it a masterpiece with a dramatic and lengthy scenario that defies expectations. The character designs are handled by the renowned illustrator Haruhiko Mikimoto. Technologically, the game boasts cinema-sized, emotionally charged animations created using the latest digital movie techniques. Adding to the immersion is a long narration performed by a star-studded cast of voice actors, including Hikaru Midorikawa, Mariko Kuda, Michiko Neya, and many other famous names. Gameplay-wise, Quo Vadis focuses on strategic intermissions packed with information crucial to your simulation. You'll be maneuvering fleets and engaging in tactical battles using a simultaneous movement system on the map. The combat itself is visually impressive, blending 2D animation with 3D CG to create immersive battle scenes, and features a simultaneous attack system. The game follows the protagonist Hal's journey as he rises through the ranks from a fresh captain just out of officer school to eventually become a marshal. There's also news about a Quo Vadis radio drama starting on October 14th, airing late Saturday nights. The theme song, sung by Q/T Quo Vadis Triangle, is set to be released as a single CD in January 1996. Fans can also look forward to a strategy guide, an art book, and even a 1996 character calendar for Quo Vadis. Lastly, game developer Glams is recruiting new staff across various roles like planners, programmers, and artists. This page introduces Tuge King the Spirits, a full polygon 3D racing game for Sega Saturn that brings real mountain roads to life, including courses based on Hakone, Shiojiri, and Okutama. You can customize your machine's engine, tires, and suspension, and race in modes like EAP mode, 2P mode, and TT time trial. Next up is Gunbird, a popular scrolling shooting game from arcades that is now on Sega Saturn. The ad highlights its beautiful character designs and impressive demo scenes using anime-style animation. It features modes like Story Mode, a consumer original mode, and a gallery mode. Finally, there's an exciting preview for Devil Summoner, a Saturn-exclusive Megaten game, or Shin Megami Tensei Devil Summoner, set to arrive late this year. It promises to fully utilize the Saturn's 32-bit capabilities, featuring 2D fields and 3D dungeons rendered in polygons. The game will boast over 300 demons, including original ones, bringing a vast world of myth and evil to life. Both Tuge King the Spirits and Gunbird are priced at 5,800 yen, with Tuge King scheduled for release in November and Gunbird in December. Atlas is also recruiting staff across various roles, like planners, programmers, designers, and store staff. This page introduces Gotha 2, Night of the Sky, for the Sega Saturn. It's touted as surpassing the original Gotha, promising a brand new Gotha world with overwhelming graphics and a grand story. This simulation game aims to usher in a new generation of simulation gaming. The game boasts a new system where strategic elements like map movement and unit customization are significantly enhanced, allowing for greater freedom and depth. It features hex battles, free map movement, new weapon systems, and unit parameter customization. The game also emphasizes player choice and strategy, promising that player decisions will directly influence the story and lead to multiple endings. Gotha 2 is scheduled for release in December. This page is an advertisement for Admiral's Decision 2, a WW2 simulation game from Koei. It's described as a sequel to a popular PC strategy game that's now coming to the Saturn. The advert boasts even larger scale battles, enhanced systems, and improved dynamic gameplay compared to the original. They emphasize realistic visuals and strategic depth, promising players will be making critical decisions as admirals in massive naval engagements. The game is scheduled for release in January of '96, but the price is still to be determined. The advert also mentions that this new iteration for Saturn will take advantage of the console's hardware to deliver a more immersive and engaging experience. This page is an advertisement for Nobunaga's Ambition, Lord of Darkness, on SEGA Saturn, the latest in the popular historical strategy game series, and it's out now for 9,800 yen. They are really pushing the visual updates, mentioning live-action footage and newly created CG visuals, making it a fresh experience. It's emphasized as the newest game after Nobunaga's Ambition, Howden, and is coming to Saturn before other consoles. New systems like the Army Corps system and Retainer Education are being introduced, alongside the visually improved graphics to dramatically portray the chaotic and powerful Sengoku period. The screenshots give a glimpse of the strategy gameplay and character portraits that players can expect. They are really highlighting the scale and depth of this historical simulation game. This page showcases a couple of big titles. First up is Winning Post X, which is being touted as the first horse racing simulation game on the SEGA Saturn from Koei, and they are calling it a genuinely authentic experience for fans. They are highlighting that it's based on the latest 95 data and packed with new features pushing the boundaries of the console. The review seems positive, as it's advertised as well-received at 6,800 yen. Then there is Sangokushi IV, known internationally as Romance of the Three Kingdoms IV, another historical simulation game, this time emphasizing the grand scale of Chinese unification. This one is for the Super 32X add-on and is marketed as a masterpiece of the genre. It's also well-received and priced higher at 14,800 yen. Both of these titles fit within Koei's usual strategy game focus, building upon the historical simulation theme we saw on the previous page with Nobunaga's Ambition. Lastly, there is a smaller section for Emit, which is described as English language learning software, using voice acting for an immersive experience. It looks like it's broken down into 3 volumes, each with a story focus: Time Lost Child, The Journey of Life, and Sayonara to Me. It lists the creators for the original story, supervision, character design, and music. This seems to be targeting a different audience, those interested in language learning using games, and it's priced at 8,800 yen per volume. This page is all about FIDA: The Emblem of Justice Remake, a simulation RPG that's getting an upgraded port to the SEGA Saturn. It seems the original FIDA was released in '94 and was known for its deep world and engaging story. This remake promises to keep all the core gameplay fans loved, but fully utilize the 32-bit power of the Saturn. They are really pushing the visual and presentation upgrades, highlighting a full animation movie for the opening and dramatic anime-style cutscenes during the game. Voice acting is also a big focus, with a list of voice actors mentioned as part of the cast. They're promising completely remade visuals and smoother, faster-paced battle animations. Plus, it sounds like they've added brand new characters and special moves to the game. There's also a section detailing radio and TV ad campaigns for the game on various stations and days, listing Mami no Reidi and TV Game Radion's programs. The game is slated for release in autumn 1995, but the price is still to be decided at the time of this advert. It's published by Yanoman/Max Entertainment. This page promotes a Tenchi Muyo campaign on the SEGA Saturn by Umedia. It's all about 2 game releases. The first is Tenchi Muyo Gokuraku Student Council, which is already available. They're calling it a complete port from the PC version, with added extras like quiz games and data collections. The second game is an upcoming, totally original Tenchi Muyo adventure simulation game, with completely new artwork, scheduled for release this winter, but they haven't set a price yet. There's a buy and send campaign running for both games. If you send in the application cards included with each game, you've got a chance to win prizes. They're giving away phone cards, ballpoint pens, posters, postcards, and other original Tenchi Muyo merchandise to the first 1,000 applicants. They also have a Double Chance Woo campaign. If you send in application cards from both game releases, you get entered to win even better prizes like life-size character posters and deluxe phone card sets. Lastly, at the bottom, they're recruiting development staff, looking for programmers, graphic designers, and sound creators. And there's a small section about a Kurubushi Brothers rescue campaign linked to Umedia's newsletter. This page is all about the excitement surrounding the Virtua Fighter anime adaptation. It announces that the popular arcade game Virtua Fighter is finally becoming an anime series. It highlights the opening and ending theme songs for the anime, Wild Vision by Koji Hayashi, and Kuchibiru no Shinwa Myth of Lips by Vivian Shu. Both singles were set to go on sale very soon. They are also releasing a soundtrack album, Soundtrack Volume 1, featuring music by Kaoru Ohori, coming out in early December, and mentions a special bonus B2 poster for early purchasers. The page also promotes Virtua Fighter 2 Wheel of Fortune, described as the ultimate guide to supreme techniques. This product is a set of strategy guides and video, aiming to teach players advanced tactics and character-specific moves, even delving into psychological warfare aspects of the game. It features all the characters from Virtua Fighter 2, including Akira, Sarah, Lau, Pai, Wolf, Jeffrey, Kadage, Shun, Jackie, and Lion, plus the mysterious, the unknown. Wheel of Fortune was scheduled to be on sale very soon too. This page showcases the SEGA Saturn game Father Christmas, which is based on the work of Raymond Briggs. It's advertised as the Japanese language edition and is scheduled for release in December. The game is a Crisrom for the SEGA Saturn, priced at 5,800 yen. As a special bonus for the first print run, purchasers will receive a mini towel. The description mentions it's a fantasy world created by Raymond Briggs, combining animation, video, and geographical learning, along with guidebooks and enjoyable games, all allowing you to explore the world alongside Father Christmas. The advert is published by Gaga. This page is all about the SEGA Saturn game Wangan Dead Heat, a drift-focused polygon car action game set on Tokyo's Metropolitan Expressway Bayshore route. It's advertised as being super realistic and action-packed, promising detailed recreations of the roads and buildings in the Wangan area. The game emphasizes challenging driving techniques and car tuning to succeed. The page highlights the Wangan Dead Heat battles, which are apparently annual events within the game world. A quirky feature mentioned is that to qualify for participation in this year's event, you need to have a gallery girl riding with you as a passenger. Speaking of which, they are promoting that you can have one of 10 real-life beautiful women as your side seat passenger, suggesting a sort of harem state for the player. There are screenshots showing the in-game graphics, including a tunnel section, and it seems to be a visually impressive game for its time. The page also mentions a highly anticipated two-player versus mode, a planned original soundtrack CD release, and Polygon 3 Draphonic sound for immersive audio. The release is scheduled for December 95. This page introduces Marriage, a new simulation game for SEGA Saturn that explores the exciting, if somewhat daunting, world of matrimony. The page features a large image of a bride in a wedding dress, setting the romantic and life-changing tone. It mentions that Marriage is a new sensation game, where you can experience your future life with the partner of your dreams. There's also talk of a dual loser system, appealing to both male and female players. The screenshots seem to show in-game interactions and relationship building. Further down, it highlights a character disc for SEGA Saturn called The Night Before Marriage, Kekkon Zenya, which is described as a pre-release item featuring illustrations and voice acting. It was scheduled to be released earlier, on October 27th for 2,000 yen. Finally, the bottom section showcases 4 characters from the game. They seem to be the potential partners you can interact with. The text next to each character box hints at different scenarios and events in the game, like dates, happenings, encounters, courtships, and even potential marriage. It also boasts a gorgeous cast of popular voice actors, with 10 people involved. Essentially, it's positioning itself as a relationship simulation game with a focus on the journey to marriage, aiming for a wide audience with its dual loser system and attractive characters. This page is showcasing a compilation of 2 classic arcade games, Thunderstorm and Road Blaster, as interactive movie action titles. It looks like these are coming to both PlayStation and SEGA Saturn as a 2 candelas room set, which is described as a collection specification. They're highlighting that these are faithful recreations of the arcade versions, with enhanced arcade and original modes for both PlayStation and Saturn, each game getting its own CD. Thunderstorm is described as a 1984 Data East title, a thrilling aerial pursuit game where you control the latest attack helicopter, LX-3, to take down terrorist groups. It boasts full animation video and exhilarating shooting action, combining to create an interactive, movie-like experience. Road Blaster, from 1985, is another Data East title, focused on car chase action, where you play a man seeking revenge against biker gangs. It's a driver's eye view game, also with full animation, aiming to deliver thrilling car action in an interactive movie format. Finally, at the bottom, it mentions a simultaneous release for both PlayStation and SEGA Saturn in October, as a 2 candelas set, with a standard price of 6,800 yen, excluding tax. This page introduces the upcoming SEGA Saturn release of Rayman. The page excitedly proclaims, "Rayman! Rescue Electoons!" heralding the arrival of a new fantastic scroll action game, and a stylish and fresh new hero. The game is described as French-born, with refined graphics spanning across 8 stages. Players can expect exhilarating battles set against beautiful backdrops, all in the quest to rescue the Electoons. It's clearly a vibrant and visually appealing platformer. The screenshots showcase colorful and imaginative levels with varied environments, confirming the game's whimsical and cartoonish art style that Rayman is known for. The advert states a release window of autumn 1995 and features the logos of both Ubisoft Entertainment and SEGA Saturn at the bottom. This page introduces the 3RAD, which is a 3D sound enhancer for TVs and computer games. It's all about bringing a super immersive audio experience right into your room. The ad highlights how this device uses SRS 3D sound technology to make you feel like you're in a movie theater or arcade when you're playing games at home. They're saying you'll experience truly powerful 3D sound, from monstrous footsteps to engine roars, making the virtual world feel incredibly real. The price is listed at 7,800 yen, and it's made in the USA. There's also a list of Japanese retailers that carry it. It seems like this 3RAD gadget is trying to amp up the audio to match the excitement of games like Rayman, featured on the previous page, and really pull you into the game world through sound. This page is all about a new fortune-telling software called Fortune-Telling Metropolis Story Part 1. It's being advertised as the #1 fortune-telling software, now hitting multiple platforms. This software seems to pack in a lot of popular fortune-telling methods, described as the 3 major fortune-tellings. Looking at the screenshots, we can see features like a Heisei fortune calendar, tarot card readings, and name-based fortune-telling. The software is priced at 5,800 yen and is suggested as one for every household, implying it's a must-have for families. It's coming out on a range of systems, including 3DO and SEGA Saturn on October 27th, PlayStation on November 22nd, and Macintosh and Windows versions coming in late November. It seems like a comprehensive package for anyone interested in exploring their fortune through their home computer or console. This page is an advertisement for an animation and creative media vocational school. It's promoting itself as the 21st Century Big Creator Education Center, boasting a high employment rate of 97.74% for graduates. They're emphasizing individuality and encouraging people to be yourself and be energetic. The school, called Yoyogi Animation Gakuen, or Yoyogi Animation Academy, is advertising for admissions for the April intake of the 8th year, highlighting its proven track record. They mention various departments, including multimedia creator, CG anime and game, VFX special effects, visual illustration, junior novels, animator, manga comic pro training, finish art, anime production, anime AV operator, and voice talent. They are also offering free health and medical consultations and affordable dormitory options for students, even after graduation. There are details about open campus events, free trial lessons, and school information sessions. The ad lists various campus locations across Japan, including Tokyo, Osaka, Nagoya, and Fukuoka. It also promotes a newcomer voice actor and talent discovery audition happening in multiple cities. Essentially, it's a full-page ad packed with information to attract aspiring creators to join their academy. This page is showcasing Lime Perfect Collection for the Sega Saturn. It's being advertised as a digital animation title. The game is about Lime, a beautiful girl from the demon world, and her fun monster extermination adventures. It seems to be a perfect collection, priced at 8,800 yen. The page highlights the cast, listing voice actors, and boasts about being the definitive digital animation version. It emphasizes features like cosplay and transformation scenes of the beautiful girl Lime, unique monsters, and story-rich scenes. Fans can also expect the opening and ending songs, parody commercials, next episode previews, and an overall feel of watching a TV anime. The story is briefly explained, mentioning friendships between the demon and human worlds, a lost treasure ball, and monsters appearing one after another. Lime, skilled in cosplay, will be fighting these monsters. It also credits Nakamaru Atsuko, known for character design and production direction in famous anime like Urusei Yatsura and Ranma 1/2, which is a big draw for anime fans. Overall, it's presented as a fun and charming monster hunting game with a strong anime aesthetic. This page is showcasing Tokimeki Mahjong Paradise, Koi no Tenpai Beat, for the Sega Saturn. They are really pushing the animation quality, boasting about having over 3,000 animation frames for the game, and it's packed with voice acting talent. It seems like a mahjong game, where you can date these 5 cute anime girls. If you win at mahjong, you get to see them in various poses and actions, which is a key selling point. The page also lists some of the voice actors involved, which is a big deal for fans. They are offering a Tokimeki present as a bonus, which includes a cell, original telephone card, voice actor autograph stickers, and more, drawn as a lottery prize. The game was set to be released on October 20th, at a price of 6,800 yen. This page is the inaugural issue of Arcade Game Magazine, and it's for people who are really into arcade games and want to learn more. This first issue was released on September 30th, and sells for 490 yen. As a special bonus, they're including a large poster for Fighting Vipers, highlighting that it's top quality from Sega AM2. To celebrate the launch, they're also running a reader prize draw where you can win luxury prizes, including a Sega Saturn and a PlayStation console. The main image clearly features Raxel from Fighting Vipers. This page is bursting with exciting Sega news for the autumn season. It's a special report focusing on Sega's upcoming game releases, headlining with titles like the tentatively titled Sega Manx TT, which I'm guessing is going to be Manx TT Superbike, alongside Sky Target, Cyber Troopers Virtualon, and Virtua Cop 2. There's even talk of a direct interview with the head of AM2, Mr. Suzuki, which is fantastic news. The page also teases a brand new 3D polygon fighting game from AM2, coming before Virtua Fighter 3. That's definitely something to keep an eye on. Furthermore, there's a complete report from the JAMA show, covering a bunch of arcade games. They mention Tekken 2, Virtua Fighter 2.1, King of Fighters 95, Marvel Superheroes, Street Fighter Zero, and Fatal Fury Side Story, among others. It seems like they're giving a good overview of what was hot at the show. They've also got a section called New Game Scramble, which highlights Virtua Cop 2, Pulstar, Metal Slug, and other new titles coming soon. Lastly, for those getting serious about arcades, there's even a beginner's guide to buying arcade boards. It's a packed page of arcade goodness. This page showcases a vibrant and quirky game called Steam Gear Mash from Takara for the Sega Saturn. It looks like a multi-genre action title where you play as a cute character named Mina-chan and pilot a transforming robot called Mash. The robot can switch between land, sea, and air modes, which seems central to the gameplay. The page highlights various gameplay elements, mentioning power-ups, weapon upgrades, and different actions. They also point out that it incorporates elements like puzzles, treasure hunting, and shooting, suggesting a diverse gameplay experience. We can see screenshots showing different environments, from underwater stages to aerial combat and ground-based levels. One screenshot even seems to show a boss battle against someone called Evil Emperor Gash. It's described as a historical first multi-channel game, and they mention a release date and price of 5,800 yen. Tax excluded. Overall, it looks like a fun, colorful, and varied action game aimed at a broad audience. The November 1995 issue of SEGA Saturn magazine features a variety of content. A special report highlights upcoming titles like Virtua Fighter 2, Sega Rally Championship, and Virtua Cop, alongside SNK games and other diverse titles. Sega Saturn Press previews new releases, including Gunbird and Godzilla.
Konami is spotlighted with titles like Snatcher.
Coming soon, software previews a large list of future releases, including Guardian Heroes and Dragon Force. Autumn sports games like Yano Tetsudo World Series Baseball are featured.
AM2 Research Express Neo covers Fighting Vipers and includes an interview.
Finally, a supplement lists games like Metal Fighter Miku. The magazine also includes regular sections with news, reader submissions, tips, and reviews. This page announces a large-scale event to celebrate the one-year anniversary of the Sega Saturn's release, called Toshimain vs. Sega Saturn Entertainment Hall Showdown. The event is scheduled from November 23rd to 26th at Toshimain Amusement Park. It's described as a battle of entertainment, suggesting a fun rivalry between the Saturn and the amusement park. The article highlights that games like Virtua Fighter and Daytona were previously only available in arcades, but now the Saturn allows players to enjoy them at home. To celebrate the anniversary, this special event is being held. The theme is a showdown of entertainment, aiming to capture the hearts of gamers. They mention that gifts aren't needed, just come and celebrate if you love the Saturn. The event promises a massive Sega Saturn base appearing in Toshimain. With unreleased and upcoming software available to play, large monitors will be set up, offering a world premiere play experience.
They also mention a Virtua Fighter 2 tournament, stating it's rumored to be a Saturn version tournament. Other secret events are also teased, with Sega promo involved, promising more details later. The article encourages players skilled in Virtua Fighter 2 and racing games to participate. Screenshots of Virtua Fighter and Sega Rally Championship are shown, showcasing the games in action. The final paragraph mentions that over 200 Sega Saturn consoles will be available to play new software, and that the event is expected to be huge. This landmark issue highlights several Sega Saturn developments. Hitachi is developing a Virtua Navi car navigation system using the Saturn's 3D graphics. Taiwanese game companies are entering the market with original software. Sega is releasing the Pry Fun hobby printer for creating custom stickers and cards. ASCII is launching the ASCII Pad X controller and Fighter Stick X joystick. The issue also features cosplay photos, including Belle Dandy, and reports on the enhanced Qzar laser tag attraction. Finally, the import version of Puyo Puyo 2 is set to release early, with details on its gameplay and campaign. A correction notice is included as well. Nissan is leveraging the Sega Saturn at dealerships in Japan to enhance car sales, utilizing video grids for interactive information on models like Primera, Terrano, and Primera Camino. A partnership with Sega aims to provide internet-based services, and a Saturn communication system with a modem and CD-ROM is planned, promising cheaper online access. The article also reviews music grids. Featured artists include Vivian Shu, Kuchibiru no Shinwa, the Virtua Fighter anime theme, Chara, Baby 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 XXX and Chara the Best, and Mineko Shinohara. Kawari Yorimo Nagaku Yuruyaka ni. Game music is represented by the Impressions Formula One World Championship. Drama creeds, such as Vampire Hunter Gaiden, are also highlighted. On the video front, Star Wars Thanks Edition and The King of Fighters 95 are mentioned. This page showcases the Sega Saturn sales charts, revealing the top 10 best-selling games. Shining Wisdom takes the #1 spot as a new entry, praised for its catchy CM and RPG elements, scoring 3,290 points. Magic Knight Rayearth is at #2 with 2014 points, described as a fun RPG to play and watch. Riglord Saga comes in third, scoring 1,006 points, noted for its easy-to-enjoy 3D RPG gameplay. Street Fighter Real Battle on Film is fourth, with 994 points, highlighting its accurate character representation and special moves. Other games in the top 10 include television anime Slam Dunk I Love Basketball, D no Shokutaku, D's Diner Table, Idol Janshi Final Romance 2, Virtua Fighter Remix, Graduation 2, Neo Generation, and Mizuki Shiran, Water Margin Warlords. Below the software chart is the arcade video game ranking, the top 5.
Virtua Fighter 2 is still holding strong at number 1, followed by Rayforce at number 2. Games like Railway Zeus, Street Fighter Zero, and The King of Fighters 95 round out the top 5 arcade games. The page also mentions that the upcoming JAMA show in September will feature new fighting games like Fighting Vipers and Sky Target from SEGA AM2 and AM1 respectively, hinting at possible Saturn ports in the future. This page reveals what SEGA Saturn fans are hoping for and what new games are on the horizon. First up, the Want to SEGA Saturn Convert Top 20 shows the games players most desire to see on the Saturn. Leading the pack is the adult PC title Dukyusei series, followed by Burst Striker and Final Fantasy series from the Super Famicom. Other high-ranking titles include Tekken, Ridge Racer, and Policenauts, showing a real demand for arcade hits and PC classics on the Saturn. Sonic the Hedgehog from Mega Drive is also in the top 10, which is interesting considering Saturn already has Sonic games. Then, we have the hopeful SEGA Saturn new soft top 15, which is all about the exciting games coming to the system. Virtua Fighter 2 predictably takes the number 1 spot, with Sega Rally Championship and Virtua Cop right behind, showing Sega's arcade dominance translating to home consoles. Kaku 2, Ryori Densetsu, and Mobile Suit Gundam are also highly anticipated. The page mentions Guardian Heroes and X-Men further down the list, promising a strong lineup for Saturn gamers.
It looks like SEGA Saturn is gearing up for some big releases.
SEGA Saturn Readers Race Volume 10 presents a reader-voted popularity contest for Saturn games. The odds table Saturn A ranking shows Virtua Fighter at number 1, followed by Virtua Fighter Remix and Digital Pinball. Last Gladiators, Magic Knight Ray-Earth, and Daytona USA complete the top 5.
The new Main Force introduction spotlights 4 new games.
Magic Knight Ray-Earth, with a 9.0215 average, is praised for its anime adaptation and RPG elements. Neo Generation 2, scoring 8.3578, is a strategy simulation with improved visuals and deep gameplay. Television anime Slam Dunk, I Love Basketball, 7.9047, is accessible and fun for casual players. Finally, Winning Post X, 7.8536, a horse racing sim, focuses on human drama and offers enhanced 3D race scenes, making it accessible to newcomers. This SEGA Saturn Readers Race Update features rankings and new game introductions. Street Fighter Real Battle on Film remains highly ranked, while Clockwork Knight and Shanghai Banri no Shuju are also listed. New game Single Horse Introduction highlights Shining Wisdom, 7.7169, an orthodox RPG. The Zo Baseball Special until tonight is 12 rounds, 7.7, a strategic baseball game. Watergun War, 7.4375, a fun water gun shooter, and Idol Mahjong Final Romance 2, 7.1515, a Mahjong game for fans. Additional sections discuss the competitive Saturn software market, with Virtua Fighter still at the top.
Shining Wisdom CM is also featured.
New game introductions include Race Drivin', 5.6153, a driving simulator, and Darkseed, 5.3636, noted for its visuals and story. This page reviews new games and peripherals. Virtual Volleyball is deemed simplistic, while School Ghost Story disappoints with its confusing plot. The Software General Review anticipates a surge of new releases. Upcoming games include Layer Section, Galactic Attack, praised for its graphics, and World Advanced Daikaisen Tetsuo no Senpu, Iron Storm, lauded for replayability.
The Oz Table Saturn peripheral devices ranks Saturn accessories, with the Fighting Stick SS, SEGA Saturn Control Pad, and Shuttle Mouse at the top. Readers are invited to participate in a prediction contest, with prizes including an analog mission stick. An analog mission stick giveaway is also announced. Finally, readers can predict game rankings for a chance to win points, featuring SimCity 2000. This page is a special report on Virtua Fighter 2 for the SEGA Saturn, currently at 70% completion, and touted as super latest news. The headline screams, "Looks are already complete!" and emphasizes super latest graphics. They're really pushing the visual aspect, stating that character modeling has further evolved. The page highlights a new watch mode, where you can watch CPU versus CPU matches. They're excited about this new feature. There's a comparison showing how the character models are improving, detailing things like shadows now being included,
replays being implemented, and even the soles of the characters' feet being more detailed. It seems they're really focusing on replicating the arcade experience on the Saturn. The article suggests the Saturn version is shaping up nicely and is very close to the arcade version, with further improvements expected before release. This page continues the scoop on Virtua Fighter 2 for the SEGA Saturn, confirming that CPU battles will be included and are very close to the arcade experience. It highlights that the game system and controls are nearly complete, emphasizing the faithful recreation of the arcade version. The page boasts that various offensive techniques are also included in the Saturn version. One section talks about being able to take accessories from defeated opponents as a new feature. Another point is the screen display, which is also being faithfully reproduced, with screenshots showing the in-game displays looking very close to the arcade. They mention stage designs are also being carried over, aiming for a sense of familiarity for arcade players. The article then mentions improved wake-up actions and sliding, aiming for a more realistic feel. Finally, there's a scoop about Dural being included in the Saturn version, which was apparently a difficult task. They highlight the polygon rendering used for Dural and its impressive graphical quality compared to the arcade. The article ends by stating that all characters are now complete and ready for release, asking readers to look forward to it. This page continues the Virtua Fighter 2 scoop, now focusing on character move checks for Jackie and Pei. The article highlights Jackie's diverse feints, explaining how he can vary his attacks due to command input recognition. They mention his signature moves like the slash knuckle and somersault kick. There's a section called Continuous Moves, showing a sequence of Jackie's knee kick combo, culminating in the somersault kick, emphasizing his speed and skill. The reviewer notes that Jackie's skin tone and muscle definition are significantly improved in this Saturn version compared to the arcade, expressing excitement about playing as him. Moving on to Pei, the article focuses on her rich throw counter, praising her ability to throw opponents who try to grab her. They point out this is her strength despite her smaller build, highlighting her counter throw and continuous throw techniques, making her suitable for advanced players. The continuous moves section for Pei showcases her throws, mentioning the windmill drop as a powerful technique. The reviewer mentions Pei's clothing details being meticulously rendered and expresses anticipation to use her in the game, noting her improved appearance. Overall, the page emphasizes the enhanced character details and movesets in the Saturn version of Virtua Fighter 2. This analysis of Virtua Fighter 2 characters examines Lasso, Lion, and Shun. Lao is highlighted for his strong rush attacks and the devastating palm-hand combo that follows a counter hit, solidifying his status as a top-tier character. Lion's deceptive attacks and ability to utilize throws are discussed, making him a character best suited for advanced players, with the knee drop as a frequently used and potent move. Shun, the drunken kung fu master, is described as tricky and intense, using unpredictable attacks and enhanced power from consuming alcohol. Despite his short reach, Shun's sidestep kick and drunken double swing are highlighted, with the reviewer playfully questioning his competitive viability due to his perceived strength. This page reviews 3 characters from Virtua Fighter 2: Akira Yuki, Wolf Hawkfield, and Sarah Bryant. Akira is a well-rounded character, with balanced offense and defense, ideal for mastering fundamentals. He boasts powerful, chainable attacks, including the shoulder charge and back fist. Wolf Hawkfield is a wrestler focused on power, employing strong strikes and throws, such as his dropkick. The review mentions a design change to Wolf's arm muscles and seeks user feedback. Sarah Bryant is highlighted for her fast-paced, combo-oriented style, suitable for both beginners and advanced players. Her gorgeous footwork and diverse moveset allow for both offensive and defensive strategies. The reviewer notes costume and hair color tweaks and asks for player opinions, jokingly questioning their significance. Each character section includes a combo demonstration with input instructions. This page focuses on Virtua Fighter, 2 characters, Kagemaru and Jeffrey McWild, and a sound team interview. Kagemaru is a close-range fighter, relying on mid and low kicks, combos, and strong follow-up attacks. His PK greater than streaming foot and swallow drop are highlighted. The Saturn version features a removable mask and improved animations. Jeffrey, the rushing giant, is a powerhouse who relies on strong strikes and throws. His signature Splash Mountain throw inflicts significant damage.
Despite being slower, his mid-level attacks and throws are key.
The Saturn version showcases realistic skin textures and muscle definition. The Sound Team interview with Nakamura and Mitsuyoshi discusses the music for the Sega Saturn version. The complete version soundtrack includes arranged and original arcade music, aiming for an enhanced sound experience with new additions. The interview touches on the arrangement process, drum sounds, voice samples, and extra content like jingles for name entry screens. This page dives into the Saturn version of Virtua Fighter 2 with an interview featuring Oka Yasuyuki, the chief developer. He discusses their efforts to incorporate new elements into the Saturn port while staying true to the arcade version. He mentions being surprised by the crowds at the show who were excited for the Saturn demo, and they are working on various new features including modes like Story Mode, Expert Mode, and Watch Mode, and are even considering adding quirky elements similar to the horse from Daytona, USA. There's also an emergency check section for the 32X version of Virtua Fighter, announcing its release on October 20th and highlighting the new elements being introduced to this version too. A check
section showcases screenshots from the Saturn version, focusing on character modeling improvements, like refined details for characters such as Lion, and mentions about 2.1 compatibility, and potential additions like cutting moves, and possible dual gameplay modes. Finally, the page teases the next issue, which will focus on 2P colors and even more mysterious new elements, showing a preview of the ranking recognition system and hinting at 15th rank being achievable. SEGA Rally Championship for the Sega Saturn is over 55% complete. Progress has accelerated significantly, with 25% added in the last month. The new version features upper-level courses, stage clear demos, network entry, background music, and a time attack mode. The beginner course, Zebras and Elephants Are Perfect, is nearly finished, boasting improved object placement, dense jungle areas, and realistic animal interactions. It includes helicopters and enhanced sound and ground effects. The intermediate course, Even Flying Birds Perfectly Transplanted, is also nearing completion, with improved starting areas, bird interactions, and realistic water and dust effects. The reviewer emphasizes the high visual quality and detail, approaching arcade standards. This review of SEGA Rally Championship for the Sega Saturn highlights the quality of its upper-level courses. Check 1 praises the detailed city backdrop and realistic streetscapes, emphasizing speed and excitement. Check 2 focuses on the tight, demanding corners of the mountain road stages, showcasing smooth frame rates. Check 3 highlights the varied course widths and small towns of the mid-stage areas, comparing the graphics and gameplay favorably to the arcade version. Finally, check 4 details the Dig Deep section, emphasizing the need for precise timing and drift control. The reviewer emphasizes the Saturn version's fidelity to the arcade experience, with detailed graphics, realistic stage design, and challenging gameplay. This Sega Saturn page focuses on the new, original mode Time Attack in Sega Rally Championship. The interview with Nakamura-san reveals the game is about 55% complete, with the arcade mode nearly done and the focus now on polishing the original mode. The developers are working to optimize the graphics for home TVs and are experimenting with the 2-player mode. A replay feature will be available in Time Attack. The Time Attack mode offers a deeper experience with a step-by-step setup, choosing a car, Lancia Delta or Toyota Celica, with more unlockable cars promised, selecting a course, desert, forest, or mountain, with beginner to advanced difficulties, setting the laps, 3 laps or free run, and finally, racing, emphasizing the arcade feel and precise timing. SEGA Rally Championship is adding exciting new features. A replay function in Time Attack mode allows viewing previous runs from multiple camera angles. A robust backup mode saves best time records for different cars, courses, and missions, fostering competition. Section time comparisons highlight areas for improvement. Daisuke Masatsuna test drove the 55% complete game, noting significant improvements in object placement, handling, and overall feel, predicting an amazing final product. Super advanced courses, designed for expert racers, are now complete, featuring challenging layouts and scenic environments, essential for Grand Prix mode. A profile highlights a dedicated 23-year-old programmer, a driving game enthusiast.
This Sega Saturn page details the port of Sega Rally Championship, highlighting the arcade development team's involvement. The development status check reveals visual improvements, like corrected stretching and enhanced gallery sprites, to match the arcade's vibrancy. Crucially, A-controlled opponent cars are being added, a key feature. Interviews with lead programmer Sasaki Kenji and development director Yamamoto Sohei emphasized the dedication to an arcade-accurate experience. Sasaki focused on refined controls, aiming for perfection.
Yamamoto stressed the importance of user feedback and aimed for 100% satisfaction. They are confident the Saturn version will exceed expectations, offering a quality comparable to Virtua Fighter 2 and pleasing fans of the original arcade game. This page is a special report focusing on Virtua Cop for the Sega Saturn, which is currently 80% complete. The price for the game has been decided at 7,800 yen. It's highlighting that this Saturn version of Virtua Cop is shaping up nicely. They're emphasizing the graphical improvements made for the Saturn, noting refined textures and backgrounds, and showcasing these enhancements in new advertisement demos. There's a big focus on comparing the arcade and Saturn versions through screenshots, pointing out the improved details in environments, gangsters, and even car designs. It seems they are really pushing the visual fidelity of this home port. They are also discussing what makes the arcade and home versions different. We can see images of enemies like the gang boss Kong. Overall, the page is really building excitement for the upcoming Saturn release of Virtua Cop, showing how it's being polished and improved for home consoles. This page continues the focus on Virtua Cop for the Sega Saturn, diving into the detailed options available. The page emphasizes the ability to customize the game to your liking, starting with the option to remove the lock-on crosshairs, offering a more challenging and immersive experience. It highlights that in the options menu, setting sight to off will remove the on-screen aiming reticle, just like in the arcades, for a purer experience. Another key feature spotlighted is the gun adjust option, which lets you fine-tune your aiming, and importantly, these settings are saved. The page explains that in arcades, operators used hardware switches to adjust aiming, but the Saturn version lets players adjust it themselves in the options and save their preferences, which is a great improvement for home play. The article boasts that the Saturn port has been meticulously refined, claiming a transplant rate of 120%. It shows off the stage select screen and mentions that the initial mission content is faithfully reproduced. The screenshots showcase various action scenes, emphasizing the detailed environments and intense gameplay, with captions like, "Famous Scene 1," pointing out key moments from the game. The overall tone is very positive, emphasizing the high quality and customization options of this Saturn version of Virtua Cop. Stage 2 of Virtua Cop on the Sega Saturn, set in a construction site, is declared complete and ready. This graphically improved stage features faithful recreations of arcade enemy designs and introduces a boss, King, in a warehouse setting. The page highlights the importance of mastering power-up items like shotguns and machine guns, which disappear upon being hit. King wields a flamethrower and launches fireballs, using warehouse cargo as a shield. Players must battle his minions while dodging projectiles. The stage also includes a giant excavator with weak points and explosive red drums for strategic enemy elimination. The page promises insights into each scene, including the boss battle, and hints at visual comparisons with the arcade version. This page is an interview with Koichi Makino from AM2 Research about the Saturn version of Virtua Cop as it nears completion. Makino mentions they are in the final stages of adjustment and are aiming for an 80% completion feeling. He discusses CD access times, stating that while loading between stages takes about 45 seconds, it's designed to be seamless during gameplay. Regarding sound, Makino confirms arcade-perfect sound effects and CD audio for the background music, although the BGM might be slightly longer than the arcade version. He also talks about refining the graphics to be as close to the arcade as possible, focusing on details. He expresses confidence in achieving a perfect port, but acknowledges they are still fine-tuning aspects, particularly the visual feedback of bullet impacts. Excitingly, Makino reveals brand new opening and ending sequences are being created, featuring Ray and Smarty. He also mentions original elements for the Saturn version, including a shooting training mode and a 1vs2 player battle mode. He hints at new enemy types called early birds, which will offer a different kind of gameplay from the arcade. Lastly, the page touches on mouse compatibility. Makino confirms Saturn mouse support is included and shares positive feedback from testing it, suggesting it offers a fun and responsive way to play, especially in two-player mode. This page reveals a special report about a cross-licensing agreement between Sega and SNK, meaning Neo Geo games are coming to the Sega Saturn. The article emphasizes that this agreement allows game titles from manufacturers holding game titles to be ported to both consoles, which is a significant shift, as previously Neo Geo games were not ported to other systems. This news is exciting for users who have been wanting Neo Geo games on Saturn. The page features an interview with Mr. Ryushi Kaga from SNK, who mentions that
Fatal Fury 3 and The King of Fighters 95 are already confirmed for Saturn ports, with more titles under consideration. Kaga believes that Saturn fans will be very satisfied with these Neo Geo ports, as they are targeting to bring the same level of quality and excitement. He acknowledges that there might be some variations depending on the title, but aims for minimal impact on the original game experience. Kaga highlights the strong fighting game genre on both Neo Geo and Saturn, suggesting this collaboration will greatly benefit fans of these genres. He mentions development is underway, and they are aiming for a release around 12 months after arcade versions become available for home consoles. He concludes by saying that this agreement will expand game choices for both user bases and hopes that Saturn users will look forward to it. Sega Saturn is gaining Neo Geo titles thanks to a partnership between Sega and SNK. Confirmed releases include Fatal Fury 3 and King of Fighters 95. Fatal Fury 3 showcases new characters, costume changes, and stage backgrounds, with a revised fighting system. King of Fighters 95 promises even more excitement with team battles and team editing. Other featured games include World Heroes Perfect, a fighting game, Quiz King of Fighters, a quiz game, Choujin Gakuen Gaokaiser, with unique character design and move-stealing mechanics, Pulstar, a visually stunning shooting game, and Flying Power Disc, a sports action game. The page also highlights Neo Geo hardware, including the Neo Geo CD and MVS arcade system, emphasizing the Neo Geo's presence in both home and arcade settings. The overall tone is highly enthusiastic about the arrival of these Neo Geo classics on the Saturn. This page is a special report announcing Vampire Hunter, also known as Darkstalker's Revenge, is coming to Sega Saturn, continuing the trend after Street Fighter Zero. It emphasizes this is a highly anticipated action fighting game now making its way to Saturn. The article highlights that Vampire Hunter arrives after Vampire, the previous game in March, and it's still popular in arcades. Saturn users are excited to play Hunter at home. It details the differences from Vampire to Hunter, noting two new playable characters, including the boss characters Phobos and Pyron, who were previously unplayable. All characters now have new special moves. The chain combo system is explained as being easier to execute, starting from weak attacks to strong attacks and special moves. There is also a special stock gauge, which was not in the previous game, allowing players to store up special moves. The page showcases the playable characters for Vampire Hunter, which include Donovan and Leylai, and the playable characters from Vampire, including Dimitri, Victor, Morrigan, Sasquatch, Felicia, and Talbane. Finally, the page also shows the bosses for Hunter, which are Pyron and Phobos. This page unveils Street Fighter II movie, highlighting it as a movie and battle experience eagerly awaited by Street Fighter II fans. The feature report talks about training your own strongest warrior in a new Shadaloo-style cyborg training game mode, where you can hone your skills against the legendary fighter Ryu. The game features a status display, which appears to show your cyborg's stats and training progress. The data setting mode in the game lets you view character profiles and various Street Fighter II related data, including scenes from the anime movie. The page also showcases movie scenes, suggesting you can relive famous moments from the Street Fighter II anime movie within the game. There's mention of iconic scenes like Ryu and Ken's training, and Chun-Li and Guile's teamwork. Finally, the page announces that 3 Street Fighter video releases are hitting stores at the same time on October 21st. These include the live-action movie Street Fighter, the anime movie Street Fighter II, and the animated series Street Fighter II V, all released on video and LD formats. The page mentions these releases are a must-buy for Street Fighter II fans. This page is a special report focusing on X-Men Children of the Atom for the Saturn. It announces that 3 new characters have been added to the game. The article mentions that a sample room was received, and initially 4 characters were confirmed to be working, but now an additional 3 are playable. The reviewer is impressed with the balance and is looking forward to the final version. The page highlights Silver Samurai as one of the featured characters, detailing his moves such as the Hand Sword and 100 Flash Blade, explaining the button combinations and effects of these attacks. The article describes Silver Samurai as a character who is heavily armored and relies on powerful sword techniques, suggesting a methodical playstyle. There's a section comparing X-Men to Street Fighter II, pointing out that while both are fighting games, X-Men allows for more freedom in the air with jumps and aerial attacks, enabling more complex and strategic battles. The reviewer notes that this difference in gameplay is a key characteristic that sets X-Men apart.
This page continues the coverage of Marvel superheroes and introduces two more characters, Omega Red and Colossus. Omega Red is described as a character who uses carbonadium coils as weapons, and his moves like Carbonadium Coil, Omega Strike, and HX Omega Destroyer are highlighted with button inputs and screenshots demonstrating their effects. The reviewer notes the versatility of his coils, mentioning they can be extended and retracted, useful for both offense and defense. Next up is Colossus, a powerhouse character. His moves like Super Dive, Power Tackle, Giant Swing, and XP Super Armor are also detailed with button commands and screenshots. The review describes him as a strength-based character with high attack power but slower movement, emphasizing his power tackle and aerial attacks as key to his gameplay. The page concludes with a mention that Marvel Superheroes was showcased at the AM show, with a high number of attendees and positive feedback, especially regarding Spider-Man. The reviewer also humorously notes that the black-haired Magneto depicted in the game looks cool. The page hints at the anticipation for the game's release. This page introduces Princess Maker 2, a racing simulation game coming to Saturn. It emphasizes it's a masterpiece of the genre, where you nurture a daughter for 8 years, influencing her future. The game boasts improved graphics compared to other versions, event-driven gameplay with RPG elements like weapon training, and high freedom for players to decide their daughter's path. The article highlights character creation, suggesting players first decide their daughter's birthday, as this determines her guardian deity and starting parameters. It briefly lists various zodiac signs: Aries, Taurus, Gemini, Cancer, Leo, Virgo, Libra, Scorpio, Sagittarius, Capricorn, Aquarius, and Pisces, each associated with a guardian star and personality traits such as intellect, sensitivity, sociability, and charm. Moving on to customization, the page showcases the dress-up feature, emphasizing the vast wardrobe available. Players can buy clothes or earn them through events, with around 9 types in total, including basic summer and winter outfits. It's mentioned that the daughter's body shape can affect how clothes look. The fashion show section displays screenshots of the daughter in different outfits, like a silky dress and a robe, pointing out details and styles. The article suggests enjoying dressing up your daughter to make her look beautiful. Princess Maker 2 gameplay involves a variety of activities to shape your daughter's development. Vacations impact parameters, with options like the beach for stress relief and the snowy mountains for bonding. Encounters in the castle town build connections, offering benefits like discounted items and cheaper meals. The game features events such as the Harvest Festival for skill testing and exciting warrior training for challenge. The daughter will also meet rivals like Anita, Cassandra, Patricia, Wendy, and Marcia. After 8 years, the game culminates in marriage and departure, with the ending reflecting your parenting choices and offering a touching farewell based on the player's actions. This page announces the debut of NEC Interchannel on the SEGA Saturn. It's a special report highlighting NEC Interchannel's entry into the Saturn market. They're described as a new company established by NEC and NEC Home Electronics to strengthen their software business, focusing on CD-ROM multimedia content production and sales. Interestingly, NEC Interchannel is merging with the game development department of NEC Avenue, which was known for PC Engine games. Their first Saturn title is mentioned as Tanju Debut S, which was previously unreleased. The page features images of anime-style girls and roses, likely related to Tanju Debut S, and photos of 2 men, Kurokawa, the new president of NEC, and Tabeta, at a press conference. They discuss how software creates culture, contrasting it with hardware creating culture, and emphasize a multi-platform strategy. The article explores what kind of activities NEC Interchannel will undertake on the Saturn. It mentions leveraging NEC Avenue's resources and technology for Saturn development. They discuss how NEC Avenue's resources and know-how in consumer game software, particularly from chief producer Tabeta, will be utilized for Saturn development. The interview-style text delves into questions about the differences between the new company and NEC Avenue, and their approach to software development in the changing market. It touches on the idea of making software that appeals to a broad audience, moving beyond just hardcore PC Engine fans. The text also hints at future developments for Saturn and PlayStation. This page introduces Tanju Debut S,
NEC Interchannel's first game for the Sega Saturn, described as an idol training simulation. The game puts you in the role of a manager training 3 new idols over 2 years to win the Idol Grand Prize. It looks like you'll manage their schedules and lessons, with daily lessons being key. We get introductions to the 3 idols. Itoaki, described as aiming for the top with talent and effort.
Fujimura Saori, a healing type from Shizuoka Prefecture. And Tanaka Kumi, a cute girl from Hokkaido. Each character has a profile box showing stats like charm, vocal, sense, and action, hinting at the gameplay mechanics. There's an interview section with chief producer Toshio Tabata, discussing NEC Interchannel's approach to the Saturn. He mentions the possibility of bringing Dukyusei to the Saturn, explaining the decision to release titles on both Saturn and PlayStation is based on whether the content suits each platform's user base. He suggests that while content similar to Dukyusei might be possible on Saturn, pure Princess Maker type games are more suited to PlayStation users. He also touches on how Saturn development leverages resources from NEC Avenue and the importance of understanding user expectations. Tanju Debut S, an idol training simulation game, lets players manage idols through photoshoot sessions, concerts, and commercial appearances to boost popularity. Chief producer Toshio Tabata highlights the game's focus on surpassing rivals, beautiful graphics, and sound. The Saturn version adds extra scenarios, enhancing variety.
Development is 70 to 80% complete, using digital visuals and hand-drawn cell animation. Aiming for an October release with additional songs, Tabata notes improvements from the PC Engine port. Beyond Tanju Debut S, a Dukyusei sequel is planned for the Saturn. Elf on Saturn is also developing titles in genres like Monster Maker and Elven Tale, aiming to create high-quality games, incorporating lessons from previous titles, and meeting user expectations. This page dives deeper into Tanju Debut S, highlighting that in order to polish yourself, good rivals are essential. This game features 7 rivals for the idol protagonist to overcome. They are really emphasizing the rival aspect in this Saturn version, which is different from the PC Engine original. The page also teases a sudden reunion and target discovered scenarios, suggesting dramatic story developments. It's currently in development, and they are aiming for a release around autumn. Key improvements for the Saturn version include an original opening movie, more events, and lots of new songs. They're calling it a Saturn version power-up, with system renewals and significantly expanded events compared to the PC Engine release. They are really pushing the visual and audio aspects, promising lots of new content. The developers are also talking about the dot quality of the graphics, mentioning they are aiming for high-quality pixel art. They also express their ambition as a manufacturer who started with adult games and want to create something enjoyable for Saturn users using NEC Group's technology and resources. Finally, there's a section promoting NEC Avenue titles being ported to the Saturn. They mention the Dukyusei and Monster Maker series, as well as Super Darius, saying they are working on porting these popular titles and asking fans to look forward to future news, linking it to the Tanju Debut S lineage. The Sega Saturn version of 3x3 Eyes, Kyusei Koshu, is an enhanced port of the PC Engine title. With 20% of development complete, the game features a brand new, high-quality animated opening movie directed by Masanori Nishide. This opening, created by a professional team, is synchronized to the music. The Saturn version also boasts new scenarios mirroring the TV anime, aiming to immerse players in its atmosphere. Storyboards reveal the detailed animation process, showcasing the care being taken. Tani Tatsuya, the voice actor for Yakumo, sings the opening theme, aiming to convey Yakumo's emotions. Players will explore 2 main scenarios, the rejuvenation incident and the building collapse incident, deciding which case to investigate first as Yakumo. This page is an interview with Mr. Itakura, the president of Japan Create, discussing their upcoming Sega Saturn game, 3x3 Eyes, Kyusei Koshu. He mentions that this is the company's first foray into the home console market, and they're putting a lot of effort into the Saturn version, aiming to make it even better than the PC Engine original. They are focusing on enhanced visuals and animation, and are including elements specifically for Saturn users. He highlights the high-quality anime opening movie and new scenarios that mirror the TV anime, hoping to fully immerse players in the 3x3 Eyes world. He mentions they are working to keep costs down for players. The page also spotlights the game's features. It emphasizes the super luxurious member gathering for the development team, listing key figures for scenario, character design, and screenplay. The anime production is being handled by Minamimachi Bugyosho, known for their work on various anime videos. The game will have full voice acting, with the original voice cast members reprising their roles. Importantly, the Saturn version boasts over 80 additional or revised animation cuts, enhancing the visuals and animation significantly compared to the original release. Screenshots show in-game scenes and characters, hinting at the visual upgrades players can expect in this Saturn edition. This page showcases a special report preview for Galaxy Fight: Universal Warriors on the SEGA Saturn, highlighting it as a highly anticipated sci-fi fighting action game. Coming from Sunsoft and slated for release in November at 5,800 yen, it's classified as an action fighting game. The article mentions that Galaxy Fight is being ported to the Saturn due to its arcade popularity and expresses confidence that readers will be excited. For those unfamiliar, it clarifies that Galaxy Fight is a popular SF fighting game initially released for arcades this year, praising its unique SF world setting and polished graphics, which are its key features. The Saturn version has been adjusted for home play, specifically reducing the difficulty of the battles, and it includes an easy mode where clearing it unlocks the last boss as a playable character, adding arranged elements. The headline proudly declares, "Public Saturn version screens are here," emphasizing that these are the first publicly shown screenshots. It mentions these are actual in-game screens from the Saturn version and notes the impressive graphics, confirming that character voices from the arcade version are also reproduced. Below this are introductions to several characters: Rolf, Juri, Kazuma, Ji-Dun, and Musafar, showcasing some of the galactic warriors players can expect to control in Galaxy Fight. This page continues the Galaxy Fight special report, now showcasing the public Saturn version for the first time, with the headline declaring, "Early port decision, unbelievable completion level." The page emphasizes how indistinguishable the Saturn version is from the arcade, stating it's reaching a 70% completion rate and is expected to improve further by release. It highlights the faithful reproduction of the arcade experience, particularly the flashy special moves, showcased with screenshots and move names like Rolling Slicer, Hammer Break, Giant Knuckle, Striking King Palm, Bull Press, and Super Alban Pun. The article reassures players that all special moves are fully implemented in the Saturn version, and that command inputs are easy with the Saturn controller. Character introductions continue, with Gunter, described as a martial artist in pursuit of strength, Alvin, a prince seeking to reclaim his kingdom using magic, and Rumi, a girl known for her unique fighting style and connection to nature. Interestingly, the page also introduces bonus characters, Bonus Kun and Yakapu, as unique additions, described in a playful tone. The overall tone is very positive and excited, with a speech bubble exclaiming, "Home play day is eagerly awaited," indicating high anticipation for the Saturn release. This page dives into Albert Odyssey Gaiden, Legend of Eldian, a brand new authentic fantasy RPG coming to the Saturn. The page is excited about this release, especially for Saturn RPG fans who have been feeling a bit underserved. They highlight that it's being developed by Sunsoft and is planned for a December release, though the price is still to be decided. The article points out, this Gaiden, or side story, is actually a proper, mainline RPG in the style of the Super Famicom Albert Odyssey games, and is aimed at fans of traditional RPGs. It emphasizes the battles are both cute and dynamic, using a command-based input system with flashy animations and character voices. While described as basic in mechanics, the overall feel is classic RPG. We get a glimpse of the story, which is set in a world where humans and monsters used to live together, but now a village is destroyed by monsters, leaving only a red-haired boy named Bike. Several key characters are introduced, including Bike the protagonist, Ike the heroine, Leos, Amon, Carol, and Elder, each with a short profile hinting at their roles in the adventure. Overall, the page conveys a strong sense of anticipation for this new Saturn RPG. X-Japan Virtual Shock 001, a SEGA Saturn game releasing October 20th for 6,800 yen, puts players in the shoes of a cameraman at X-Japan's White Night concert on December 31st, 1994. Described as a video-click adventure, the game blends interactive elements with concert footage. The goal is to meet the band members, Patata, Toshi, Heath, Hyde, and Yoshiki, by navigating backstage, collecting items, and making strategic choices. The game emphasizes a sense of challenge, with the tagline, "I want to meet X Japan, but it's not that easy." Players take photos of the band members. The game highlights the live performance of Rusty Nail, allowing players to edit the concert video. The game is billed as a fashionable novel, offering a unique interactive experience with the popular rock band. This page is a special report focusing on the SEGA Saturn port of Irem's 1993 arcade game, In the Hunt, originally titled Great Undersea War in Japanese. The game, a side-scrolling shooter set underwater, is advertised as a complete arcade port revival for the Saturn and is currently 60% complete. It's scheduled for release on December 15th, priced at 6,800 yen, and supports two-player gameplay. The page highlights the game's detailed graphics and unique gameplay, mentioning the addition of original movie demos exclusive to the Saturn version. Screenshots compare the arcade and Saturn versions, demonstrating the enhanced visuals on the Saturn. The text also mentions the excitement of underwater battles, power-ups, and challenging boss encounters in this side-scrolling shooting game, promising a satisfying experience for players. This page introduces Off-World Interceptor Extreme from BMG Victor, slated for release on November 22nd at 5,800 yen. This is described as a shooting game for 1 or 2 players. It's not your typical racing game, but more of a wild, action-packed experience set in vast natural environments with polygon graphics. The gameplay focuses on speed and cornering, with jump actions and shooting elements taking center stage, promising a very unrestrained and exciting feel. The page showcases both a driver's viewpoint and a behind-the-vehicle view, especially highlighting the two-player versus mode. You can earn money in the game to customize and upgrade your vehicle, improving its performance. There's also a brief interview with someone from BMG Victor's Interactive Entertainment Division, who discusses the company's background as a major music industry player since 1987, and their expansion into Crydrom software for PC and Saturn. They mention plans for other Saturn titles like Hard and 3D Baseball, expressing optimism about the Saturn market and its potential beyond just games, suggesting future applications in education and databases. Sakura Wars, a highly anticipated SEGA Saturn game, is 70% complete. The Super Big Adventure is being produced by Uji Hiroi, with Kuhei Tanaka on music, Kangetsu Fujishima on character design, and Satoru Akahori writing the scenario. These key figures were showcased at a press conference. Hiroi ties the game to his Tenkai Meikyu series, expanding into multiple media. Tanaka promises 11 new songs. Fujishima jokes about designing characters for such a popular game, referencing previous works. Akahori expresses his enjoyment of the scenario writing. A Super Big Game announcement meeting on September 19th revealed Sakura Wars as a dramatic adventure slated for spring '96, with the price yet to be determined. The game, featuring a record-breaking budget, stars the voice of Chisa Yokoyama as Sakura Shinguji. High expectations surround this project due to the involved talent. Sakura Wars is set in Taisho Year 12, where Tokyo is under attack by demons seeking to overthrow the government. The Imperial Assault Force, Flower Division, is the city's secret defense, led by Lieutenant Ogami Ichiro. This elite team consists of 6 young women, who are also stage performers. These women pilot powerful Kubu spirit armor, recruited from across the globe for their special abilities. The main characters are Sakura Shinguji, a skilled swordswoman; Kana Kirishima, a martial artist; Sumire Kanzaki, a talented actress; Maria Tachibana, a veteran soldier; Lee Kohran, a skilled mechanic; and Iris, a young girl with psychic abilities. They each have unique personalities, and are vital to the fight against the demonic threat. This page dives into the realism of the Kubu spirit armor from Sakura Wars, highlighting its unique design powered by spiritual energy, not steam, which puts a strain on the pilot's minds and bodies. It mentions that only girls with special abilities can handle them, tying back to the Flower Division. We get to see some great images of the Kubu, showcasing its detailed CG design, making it look and feel like a real weapon. There are also schematics showing the inner workings and different parts of the Kubu. It's described as cutting-edge technology, with incredibly detailed unit and perspective settings. The page features a special interview with Hiroi Oji, the general producer of Sakura Wars. He talks about how the idea for Sakura Wars started from wanting to create a musical. He mentions not feeling pressure but genuinely enjoying game development, especially the game design and scenario creation aspects. Hiroi discusses the game's setting in the Taisho era, explaining how it blends Japanese identity with a modern Western feel. He also touches upon the Kanto earthquake as a backdrop and future plans for sequels and expansions, leveraging the capabilities of Kleedroms. He expresses a desire to create high-quality entertainment that extends beyond just the game, including stage shows, aiming to utilize Kleedroms to their full potential for a next-generation experience, with animation and diverse elements all coming together in the game. The Voyager section, titled The Circle of Saturn, is a user feedback forum. Editor Pana introduces the section, sharing their origin story of becoming a Saturn owner after being inspired by X-Japan software. Other readers share their experiences. One reader describes seeing a girl playing a Saturn and contemplates what game she might be playing. Another 15-year-old discusses underage gaming. A reader from Chiba raves about Virtua Fighter 2, specifically praising Lau and Akira's voice actors and Fighter's Megamix. Finally, a reader discusses the impact of FM sound, their love of dog racing games, and wonders about the future of Game Gear ports and new Saturn game genres. The forum showcases the diverse interests and excitement of SEGA Saturn fans. The user feedback focuses on software pricing, with opinions varying on whether prices are too low. Some readers argue for higher prices to value good games, while others, particularly students, welcome affordability. Discussions also cover the complexities of pricing, including the used game market and the role of consumer demand. Further feedback sections touch on other topics. Itai Hudai features comments on Panzer Dragoon and frustrations with keyboard release schedules. Ropal explores the meaning of the term itself. Finally, Mazumishin showcases reader artwork and comments, including observations on Voyager Saturn Tsushin, the difficulty of RPGs like Blue Seed and Magic Knight Rayearth, and excitement about a possible Guardian Heroes 2. Reader feedback on game prices continues to be divided. One appreciates bargain hunting, while another believes lower prices devalue quality titles. The page also includes a manga strip. An impression room contest invites readers to share their most shocking Saturn game experiences for prizes. Reader stories follow. Inappropriate Wife and Reserve Army humorously details a wife's Virtua Fighter obsession. Sudden Sweetness Sayaka recounts a reader's Saturn purchase inspired by a flyer, enjoying the console despite her husband's lack of interest, and exploring karaoke features. My Saturn features short snippets. Hako Saturn describes storing seeds in the console, and Saga Saturn notes daily Saturn play and the system's dedicated fanbase, with some owning multiple consoles. This page is titled Gallery of Saturn, and it's showcasing reader-submitted artwork and comments. The editorial team are saying it's the art season, and they are eager to see new works that bring a fresh breeze. We have various reader submissions here. Vexstar from Osaka drew a pin-up-style illustration and asks for feedback. Kenji, from Shiga, made an original illustration and is happy with how it turned out. Oshimasato, from Tokyo, thinks their submitted illustration is a bit gloomy. Max, from Niigata, is wondering if radio listeners are enjoying game music and mentions the game Metal Fighter Miku. There's a Polygon Hakase Knows It All special corner, where a question is asked about who Nagumoshi is, as people keep mentioning the name. The answer explains that Nagumoshi, Nagumo Tadayuki, is the real name of Polygon Hakase, a SEGA employee, and they often get help from him. There's a funny Nagumoshi big dissection diagram analyzing his personality traits, like sweet face and killer smile, but also unexpectedly cold. Other reader illustrations include Hot Panic Time Tachi, where someone drew girls in swimsuits and feels sorry for the boys, and Hugo, who drew characters from Musu Resha and mentions Yukari-chan. Finally, at the bottom it says, Saturn's Truth. A 8-year-old child plays PVS and says Crystal is 10 years too early. It seems to be a humorous observation about young gamers and game quality. This page of reader content and segments features various topics. Wrestler Theater presents a 4-panel comic with reader-submitted gags. Table Talk focuses on the character Laura. A Word from Earthlings contains short comments from readers, including game-related desires and concerns. Game and Living Wisdom offers Saturn gaming tips, recommending optimal video connection methods. Oh? Saturn Is It covers a big prediction contest about Nagasima Spalland and discusses the game Trio the Punch.
I won't give up until I'm used to it.
Reviews the Battlemania series. Earthling Ring shares everyday life stories, and Awkward Okusama and Reserve Forces asks about the pressure to buy hardware and software. Do you know? Saturn User is a Q&A with Polygon Hakase. The page also includes sections for illustrations, naming ideas, and reader participation in a Voyager corner. This page features an article titled, "Games Are Good, I Love Them, I Can't Get Enough." It seems to be an interview with the band Blow, specifically Yamato Sawamura, Norio Nonaka, and Hideo Suzuki. The band members talk about their love for games, especially racing games like Daytona USA and Ferrari, which they are currently hooked on. They mention spending a lot of time playing, even late into the night, and joke about neglecting work because of gaming. They also discuss using music software, specifically mentioning Performer, a multi-track recording software on their computer for music creation. The drummer humorously claims he almost quit the band because he was told he was too loud and he couldn't play drums, but then they clarified it was about his drumming in the game being too loud, not in real life. The bottom section introduces Blow as a band that embodies fashionable young culture, drawing inspiration from artists like Cardigans and Vanessa Paradis. They are described as having a sophisticated sound rooted in Shibuyake music. Their music style is labeled as Japanese language lyrics in style, which is Western music style, and they are releasing a new album titled Yeah. The article notes that their music is considered stylish and would appeal to fans of record stores like Tower Records and HMV, as well as DJ booths that broadcast trendy music. This page is all about Neo Geo World Volume 3. It's announced for release on October 27th and will cost 880 yen. The magazine is packed with the latest info, kicking off with Samurai Showdown 2 Wine, Blades of Blood, the third game in the Samurai Showdown series. There's a screenshot showing off some in-game action. They're also hyping up Neo Geo's first RPG, Samurai Showdown RPG, with the provisional title, True Samurai Spirits Bushido Fierce Legend. There's some exciting buzz about King of Fighters 95 and Fatal Fury 3 potentially being ported to the Saturn. It seems King of Fighters 95 is getting a big feature with thorough strategies and team combination info for a massive 2024 different team setups. The page also mentions a strategy special section that will cover Madu Monogatari, Tower of Mist, Gaokaiser, Pulstar, and Sonic Wings 3. And there are other Neo Geo titles mentioned like Shutetsu Brickinger, Metal Slug, ADK World, Goal, and Idol Janshi Final Romance 2. Other screenshot is shown. This one looks like King of Fighters, possibly with Terry Bogard in action. The page is decorated with character art, including Kyo Kusanagi, Mai Shiranui, and another character that looks to be from the new Samurai Spirits RPG. This page is all about World Advanced Daisen Ryaku Iron Storm, a strategy simulation game for players of the previous Daisen Ryaku titles. The article highlights the main differences and improvements in this new version. One key point is the enhanced supply vehicles. In the past, they were only for resupply, but now they can also repair other units. Interestingly, they can also act as construction vehicles, able to repair bridges and cities. However, there's a limit of 1 resupply per turn, and using supplies consumes resources. Another change is the 7 transformations for infantry and artillery. These unit types can now transform into vehicles, changing their roles on the battlefield. This adds a new layer of tactical flexibility. For combat, indirect attacks are now 100% accurate, which is a significant change, although the damage reduces with distance. Direct combat priority is determined by unit speed and training level, meaning faster and more experienced units are more likely to attack first. Experience in battle now plays a larger role in unit effectiveness. Finally, the winning condition has shifted. Instead of capturing the capital, you now win by destroying the enemy's command headquarters. These command units are tougher, and infantry attacks are particularly effective against them, making infantry units more strategically important in Wa Daisen Ryaku. Masahiro Hiya, creator of the World Advanced Daisen Ryaku series, discusses the game's nearing release, expressing relief and gratitude to his team. He recommends playing in Search and Destroy mode, with weather effects disabled for a balanced and strategic experience, emphasizing the game's design to minimize luck-based outcomes. He hopes players will deeply enjoy the game and expresses a desire to continue creating simulation games. The interview also previews 2 new maps. Coroneto Operation features the American invasion of Japan, focusing on extended battles and the assault on Tokyo. Brahms Operation places the German army in Stalingrad, challenging players to break a Soviet encirclement with limited resources, highlighting the importance of supply lines. Haya also briefly mentions potential future features, such as online multiplayer and unit editing, hoping to add them if there is sufficient demand. This page continues the basic battle tactics guide for World Advanced Daizenryaku, diving into core gameplay mechanics. It starts by explaining Zone of Control, or ZOC, and how it defines unit movement and battle lines. Units exert a ZOC on their hex and the surrounding 6, stopping enemy units in their tracks and preventing movement into another ZOC. The guide then covers encirclement tactics, highlighting how surrounding an enemy unit is crucial for effective attacks in World Advanced Daizenryaku, with no penalties for direct attacks during encirclement. It emphasizes using encirclement to weaken enemies and prevent retreat. Next, it discusses attack order, recommending artillery first to soften targets, followed by bombers for heavy damage, and finally tanks to finish them off. This section stresses the importance of coordinating unit types for optimal combat effectiveness. Lastly, the guide underscores the necessity of scouting, stating that even large forces are useless against unseen enemies. Scouting is presented as vital for commanders to locate enemy positions, recommending scout units like armored cars and reconnaissance aircraft to identify targets before engaging with main forces. The page uses screenshots and diagrams to illustrate these tactical concepts within the game. This guide to World Advanced Daizenryaku focuses on combat, movement, and endgame strategies. Combat emphasizes damage management. Units should retreat for resupply when heavily damaged, indicated by a fire icon, to avoid destruction. Movement is about strategic planning, utilizing the Zone of Control (ZOC) concept to outmaneuver the enemy and exploit gaps in their lines. Endgame strategy centers on disabling enemy production by capturing or surrounding their facilities. The guide recommends targeting strategically important hexes instead of fully occupying every space around a production site. Finally, the guide details blitzkrieg tactics, a continuous attack strategy using combined arms, air, artillery, tanks, and infantry, to break enemy lines, seize objectives, and encircle the enemy. The guide also promotes a strategy submission contest for players. This page is all about computer memory, specifically focusing on room or read-only memory in a segment titled DINA Hard Computers Memories. It's all about semiconductor memory, part of an ongoing series. The article kicks off by explaining the fundamental difference between room and RAM. Room, as the name suggests, is primarily for reading data, perfect for game software. RAM, or random access memory, is more flexible, allowing both reading and writing. Then the page gets into the specifics of different room types. Mask room is the classic type used in older consoles like the Mega Drive and Saturn, where the game data is permanently burned in at manufacturing. Then you have OTPROM, one-time programmable room, allowing for a single write operation. UVPROM can be erased using ultraviolet light and reprogrammed, while EPROM is electrically erasable and programmable. Flash EPROM is another variant of EPROM. Finally, it briefly touches on RAM, listing types like SRAM and DRAM. Essentially, this page gives you a quick education on the various types of memory that power our computers and consoles, particularly the room family, which is key for game cartridges and discs. This page continues the exploration of computer memory, diving into EPROM and Flash EPROM. It explains that EPROM, or electronically erasable programmable room, requires ultraviolet light to erase data, which makes partial erasing impossible. On the flip side, Flash EPROM can be erased electrically in blocks, offering faster operation. The article details how writing to EPROM involves electrically dropping bits at specific addresses, contrasting it with Flash EPROM's block-based erasure approach. The page then shifts to discussing the access speed differences in backup memory, specifically comparing serial and parallel data transfer methods. It highlights that systems like the Saturn and Playdidia utilize serial access for their memory cartridges. While serial access is cost-effective due to reduced pin count and signal lines, it's slower compared to parallel access, particularly when handling larger amounts of data. The article uses an analogy of 16-bit data transfer to explain the difference, showing how serial access takes multiple cycles to send the same data compared to parallel. Lastly, there's a fun little diary section by someone called Dr. K, reminiscing about the excitement of buying SEGA Saturn games back in the day, specifically mentioning purchasing titles like Virtua Fighter 2 and Magical Knight Rayearth, and the anticipation of new game releases. It captures the feeling of being a dedicated Saturn fan back then, rushing to buy games even before fully setting up the console, and the slight disappointment of sometimes realizing a game wasn't as amazing as hoped. This page introduces the Saturn teaching section, starting with an interview with Koichi Nakamura, the president of Chunsoft. He humorously mentions that Chunsoft isn't currently developing for the Saturn, but appreciates the CD format. He admits to owning a Saturn himself and enjoying Virtua Fighter, even joking about liking the Virtual Boy controller. Then we have the Warp Earthlings Investigation Team report, with columns from Kenji Ino and Hidetomo Sudo of Warp. Ino talks about the high praise for the Saturn, but has mixed feelings about some aspects, hinting at development challenges and tight schedules. Sudo discusses D's Diner, highlighting its great animation, gameplay, puzzle elements, and controls. He also mentions a prize of 5,000 yen and enjoying ICOM movie. Lastly, the Saturn Religion Headquarters Communications section is recruiting Saturn believers. Readers are invited to send in proof of their Saturn devotion, like photos and stories, to receive a Kamon Believer special membership card. Humorously ending this section is a box that says, Failed Recruitment. This page is titled, Open Up, Information Treasure Box, and features a column discussing, Is Windows 95 really amazing? The author, Kazutoshi Otani, questions the hype surrounding Windows 95, suggesting it's being overblown by the media. He argues that while Windows is not a bad product, it's more of an evolution of Windows 3.1 rather than a revolution. He acknowledges improvements like long file name support and KiDROM compatibility in Windows 95, addressing limitations of DOS and earlier Windows versions. However, he points out that for users familiar with Windows 3.1, the changes might not feel as drastic as advertised. Otani also touches on Microsoft's marketing efforts around technologies like OLE and OpenDoc, implying there's more marketing spin than genuine groundbreaking innovation. Essentially, he believes Windows 95 is an improvement, but the revolutionary label might be an exaggeration fueled by mass media. This page showcases a Sega specialty store advertisement, essentially a price list from a shop called Santa, for various Sega consoles and games. It's laid out like a flyer you might find in a magazine, detailing prices for the V Saturn, Mega CD, Mega Drive, 32X, and Game Gear. There are extensive lists of games available for each system, including titles like Virtua Fighter 2, Daytona USA, Panzer Dragoon, Clockwork Knight, Sonic CD, and many more, across various genres. You can see a wide selection of popular, and maybe some more obscure titles from the Saturn's early days, and its predecessors. Besides games, they also list a range of peripherals and accessories for the Saturn and other Sega consoles, from controllers and memory cards to audio and video cables. It's a pretty comprehensive offering, suggesting this store was a go-to place for Sega fans back in the day. It's like looking at a snapshot of what was available and at what price for Sega gamers at the time. This page is an advertisement for the Tokyo Game Designer Academy, a school that offers training courses for various game development roles. They have courses in game design, aimed at beginners and more experienced individuals, covering basic programming and more advanced game programming. They also have courses in game artistry, game planning and scenario writing, sound creation, and Mac-based multimedia image creation. The ad mentions that they are holding a school open day in April 1996 and are recruiting students for November. It highlights the success of one of their graduates who joined a game company after completing the course. This page showcases the upcoming software releases for the Sega Saturn. It's jam-packed with titles hitting shelves from October through to next year, 96. It looks like Sega is pushing hard with their Virtua Fighter CG Portrait series, as there are multiple volumes dropping each month featuring different characters like Sayori and Lion. Looking at the lineup, there's a wide variety of genres. We've got action titles, RPGs, shooting games, adventures, simulations, sports games, racing, puzzles, table games, and even pinball. Some notable titles include X-Men Children of the Atom, which is awesome to see on the Saturn, and Street Fighter 2 movie, promising some intense versus fighting action. For RPG fans, Albert Odyssey Gaiden, Legend of Eldian looks interesting, and for adventure lovers, Alone in the Dark 2 is on the horizon. It also mentions FIFA Soccer 96 for sports fans, and even Zork 1 for those who enjoy classic text adventures. Surprisingly making its way to the Saturn, There's also a bunch of Japanese games and genres that are less familiar to international audiences, like mahjong and quiz games. Overall, it's a pretty diverse mix of games coming to the Sega Saturn, showing a strong software lineup for the upcoming months. This page continues the software release schedule, but now it's showcasing what's coming for Mega Drive, Super 32X, and Game Gear. Looking at the Mega Drive, we've got games slated for release in late October, including titles like Batman Forever, Foreman for Real, Bebe and Pengo, and Surgical Strike, covering action, sports, and shooting genres. For the Super 32X, there's only one title listed, which is Virtua Fighter, marked as an action game, also coming in October. The Game Gear has a more packed schedule, spanning from October through December, and even some titles with undetermined release dates. Games for Game Gear include Gear Stadium Heisei version, Batman Forever and Foreman for Real Again, Sonic Labyrinth, J-League Soccer Dream 11, Puyo Puyo, Godzilla, and Lunar, among others. The genres are quite varied, with sports, action, puzzle, RPG, strategy, and table games all represented. Basically, this page gives us a rundown of what games are on the horizon for Sega's 16-bit consoles and handheld, indicating there's still a stream of new games, even with the Saturn in the spotlight. The Sega Saturn is set to receive a diverse range of games. Baseball, robot action, and marriage simulations are in development from various companies. Arcade ports like Layer Section, Hat Trick Hero 95, and Rayforce are planned, alongside original titles like Dead Heat Girls. Capcom is bringing X-Men and Street Fighter Zero. Strategy, horse racing simulations, and a fishing game are also coming. Neo Geo conversions, including cross-licensing agreements, are highlighted by SNK. Game Arts is developing a 3D shooter, while Nippon Create is working on a 3x3 Eyes game. Remakes and puzzle games are also planned. Additional content includes player polls with prizes and promotions for existing titles. The magazine itself features editorial content, upcoming scoops, and a cartoon strip section. This page seems to be an advertisement for a height increase program called Nobirucha Ho, or Height Increase Method. It uses a method that claims to increase height through dyna, and is effective because height grows from the feet. The advertisement features two individuals, one shorter at 168 centimeters and another taller at 185 centimeters after using the program, with a graph showing height increase over several months for two classmates. It emphasizes that height has nothing to do with intelligence. There are testimonials from users who claim to have successfully increased their height using this method, even after thinking it was impossible. They highlight ease of use and noticeable results within a short period. The program is promoted as a solution for those concerned about their height, suggesting it can lead to significant growth. The ad mentions it's a talking point in various regions and promotes a Dana system approach to height increase. It also mentions that by watching a 20-minute video daily while training, participants can achieve results, planning for 10 centimeters growth in 1 month. Finally, it encourages readers to send postcards for free informational materials, highlighting free delivery of these materials. The contact information for the Japan Health Academy is provided at the bottom of the page. This page is packed with new game announcements and special offers. First up is Hangin GP95 for the Sega Saturn, described as a refreshing puzzle-like racing game, priced at 5,280 yen and releasing on October 27th. Next is Princess Maker 2 for the Sega Saturn, a popular simulation game where you raise a daughter, priced at 7,180 yen, also releasing on October 27th. Then there's Fita, Emblem of Justice Remake, another Saturn title, presented as a dramatic role-playing game with intense battles, hitting shelves on October 27th for 5,780 yen. Following that is X-Men for Saturn, an action game expected to be a big hit with pre-orders being taken, slated for release on November 22nd and priced at 5,980 yen. There's a This Month special section highlighting discounted games like Afterburner 2i and Sonic & Knuckles. They also have member benefits offering a 5% discount on purchases. The page also features a huge list of Sega Saturn games available, along with lists of Super 32X, Mega Drive games, hardware and accessories, offering a wide range of gaming products. Finally, they are running an illustration contest for readers to submit their artwork. This page announces the upcoming release of DS Station Volume 9, coming as a CRIDROM on December 8th. It's described as a book-type game software, suggesting it might be a compilation disc included with a magazine or book. It also mentions a previous volume, Volume 8, which was released on October 6th, and was also titled Moyo Ro Shiku. There are screenshots hinting at the types of games included. They seem to be showing examples of different game genres. SLG, which stands for Simulation Game, with a title that seems to be Great Magic War Strategy 95. RPG, role-playing game, called Fantasy World Legend. ACT, action game, which is Knuckle Kid. And PZL, puzzle game, which is Puzzle Boy. It seems to be showcasing a variety of games, likely included in this compilation syndrome. This questionnaire from a magazine seeks reader feedback. It begins with instructions on how to complete the survey and then requests personal information, including gender, age, occupation, and ownership of SEGA Saturn software and computer game magazines. Read. The survey probes opinions on the current issue's cover and purchase frequency. It asks about favorite and least favorite articles, listed in Table 1, and hardware ownership and future purchase plans, Table 2. Finally, it asks readers to select up to 5 desired SEGA Saturn games from Table 3. Table 1 lists articles from the current issue, with reviews of games like Virtua Fighter 2 and previews of games like Burning Rangers. Table 2 lists hardware options, from the SEGA Saturn to the unreleased Ultra 64. Table 3 provides a broad selection of SEGA Saturn games, from RPGs to action titles. This page is bursting with SEGA Saturn news, highlighting the latest game releases and upcoming titles. It's split into 2 main sections, New Release Title and Coming Soon, each packed with games. Under New Release, you can see titles like Godzilla Archipelago Shock, a Hiroki Matsukata's world fishing game, Rayman, Wizard's Harmony, and titles from well-known series like Chowaniki and Neon Genesis Evangelion. There's even a shogi strategy game, and something called Chaos Control. The Coming Soon section is equally exciting, featuring games such as Guardian Heroes, Shin Megami Tensei, Devil Summoner, Dark Savior, and Toshinden NES. There are also racing games like Virtua Racing and Virtual Kyoto, and even a pet racing simulator called Paku Paku Animal. Towards the bottom, there's another Coming Soon section, or perhaps games that are of interest, with titles like King of Spirits, Theme Park, Sim Tower, and Virtual Open Tennis. It also seems to include multiple Mahjong games, and titles like Thunderstorm and Road Blaster, and even DX board game. The page is visually striking, with cartoon characters and bold lettering, clearly designed to grab your attention and get you hyped for the latest and greatest on the SEGA Saturn. It's a jam-packed overview of what Saturn gamers can look forward to. SEGA Saturn fans have 3 upcoming titles to look forward to. Gunbird, a vertical scrolling shooter, is nearly complete, 90%, and promises a faithful arcade port with impressive visuals and 2-player mode. It's slated for a December release at 5,800 yen. Hiroki Matsukata's World Fishing, a fishing simulation game, 50% complete, offers 5 modes, including tournament and trolling. It will feature a black base edition and is expected in January 96. Finally, Godzilla Archipelago Shock, 25% complete, puts players in command of the self-defense force, battling Godzilla and other monsters. This simulation game, geared towards movie fans, will allow players to command units like Super X, with allies such as Mechagodzilla and Mothra. It is also set to be released in December. This page showcases 3 exciting games. First up is Rayman, a side-scrolling action game from Europe, boasting beautiful graphics and smooth animations. You play as Rayman, whose goal is to rescue the Electoons from the evil Mr. Dark. Rayman has a variety of moves, like jumping and punching, and he can even use his hair as a helicopter for flying. The game features diverse enemies and stages like Battlefield and Bandland, all set in a fantastic world. Next we have With Air's Harmony, a user-friendly racing simulation game that is 50% complete and coming next spring from Arc System Works. You can choose 5 characters out of 15 to nurture, alongside the main protagonist. The game emphasizes freedom in raising characters within a year-long in-game period. It has cute characters and seems to be set in a school environment. Finally, there's Papa Para O, a puzzle game that is already 100% complete from Ecole Software and launching in late November. It's described as appealing to younger players, featuring a fairy tale world with colorful puzzle gameplay and charming characters. The screenshots show puzzle battles and cute character interactions. 4 upcoming Saturn games are previewed. Cho Aniki, a 30% complete action shooter with a unique muscle pinup aesthetic, is coming from PC Engine. Complete O-Rail, an 80% complete action game simplified from Laseractive,
emphasizes power-ups and quick reflexes. Neon Genesis Evangelion, an adventure game adapting the anime, promises a multi-scenario experience with new animation and original voice acting. Finally, Kekon Marriage, a 50% complete marriage simulation, focuses on detailed character data and relationship building, with a Wedding Eve Special Edition launching October 27th, offering additional content. This page showcases 2 intriguing games and a couple of shogi titles. The main highlight is The Psychotron, a command selection style SF adventure game that uses real-life footage, focusing on a CIA agent investigating a secret Russian weapon called Psychotron. It seems to be a tense thriller involving mind control and political intrigue, with the player navigating the CIA offices and uncovering secrets. The game boasts impressive voice acting and is aimed at a mature audience, rated 18+. Alongside it are previews for 2 shogi, Japanese chess, games. Strategic Shogi emphasizes polygon graphics to bring the shogi board and pieces to life in 3Ds, promising a more visually engaging experience and diverse strategies. Kanazawa Shogi, on the other hand, is positioned as the definitive and strongest shogi software for the Saturn, developed by a renowned shogi programmer. It aims for a challenging AI even for experienced players, but also offers easier difficulty levels for beginners, with various customizable options. Both shogi titles are set for release in November. This page showcases 2 new games under development and some additional game news. First up is Planet Development in Progress from Ultron, slated for release in November. It's a strategy game where you control a team of 3 robots to develop a planet, gathering resources, building structures, and engaging in combat. The robots come in various quirky shapes, and screenshots show gameplay on diverse planetary terrains. Next is Chaos Control by Virgin Interactive, a 3D shooting game set in the near future, coming in December. It seems to be an outer space adventure that starts in a futuristic New York City and expands to space colonies. Screenshots show a stage featuring the Statue of Liberty and some kind of mechanical enemy. The reviewer highlights the freedom of movement and polygonal graphics. There's also a section called Newest Outlier Information, featuring various game snippets. One is Black Fire, which is mentioned for a December release. Alongside this are screenshots hinting at various genres, including a helicopter action game, a racing game, a fighting game, and a puzzle game, showing a range of titles are on the horizon. Finally, the page mentions Sega's Fax Club and Kuro Neko fax services, offering game information via fax machines at convenience stores, starting in October. And for those seeking better visuals, Sega is releasing an RGB cable in October to enhance the picture quality on compatible TVs. This page dives into Guardian Heroes, the new action RPG from Treasure, developers known for their intense action titles. The article highlights that this is the first introduction to the game in the magazine, and aims to give newcomers a quick understanding of its world. The writer mentions the opening movie is designed to be informative for new players. The article mentions that the game is 70% complete, aiming for an end-of-year release, and priced at 5,800 yen. It emphasizes the high-quality animation and action, showcasing the main character, Harn, and other characters like Serena, Randy, and Nico. Screenshots hint at various gameplay scenes and character actions. The article also mentions that the game will be playable at shows and retail stores. Below, it highlights key phrases like Heroes Awakening and Harn slashes, Randy shoots, suggesting the game will feature dynamic action and different character roles. The bottom section seems to be showcasing various characters and their actions in the game, likely Harn and Randy, in different combat scenarios and poses. The page is building hype for Guardian Heroes and its action-packed gameplay. This page is hyping up the massive 6-player battles in Guardian Heroes, emphasizing the sheer number of playable characters available, which is apparently quite unusual. This action RPG lets you have intense 6-player battles by using a multi-tap adapter. The page highlights that in the game's versus mode, you can have anywhere from 2 to 6 players battling it out. It shows screenshots of both standard 2-player battles and chaotic fights with many players. What's really cool is they point out that you don't just play as the main heroes. Almost all the enemy characters are selectable too. They mention you can even use enemy types like the color Mono Eye and Robber Papari in versus mode. Even someone called Ed Type, a comment from Mysterious Flying Man Murakami, emphasizes this freedom of character choice, saying that even enemy characters from the story mode are selectable,
adding a ton of variety to the versus battles. The page shows images of different battles, including a funny mismatch of a giant boss character fighting smaller ones, really highlighting the crazy and diverse battles you can have. It seems like the reviewer is really impressed by the sheer number of characters and chaotic fun the multiplayer mode offers. This page continues to ramp up excitement for Guardian Heroes, providing an update on its development progress. They mention the game is about 70% complete and going smoothly, with the team focused on polishing the graphics with meticulous dot adjustments to further enhance the visual quality. They are emphasizing stronger presentation and more impressive scenes. New enemy characters are also being introduced to enrich the game. In a section called Treasure Monthly, there's an interview with Treasure President Ku Mayagawa. He reiterates the 70% completion mark and highlights the team's commitment to raising the game's quality, incorporating diverse elements while refining the graphics. He requests fans to patiently await the release. Reader comments showcase player anticipation for Guardian Heroes, particularly expressing excitement about playing as both Randy and Edward in the game. Lastly, the page includes humorous manga panels depicting the hectic and pressured environment of game development as the team races towards the deadline, offering a lighthearted look at the development process. This page continues the hype for Shin Megami Tensei, Devil Summoner, revealing a large batch of screenshots and declaring, "This is the latest Megaten." The article highlights the game's 3D dungeons, confirming they are built using polygons and texture mapping, making the environments detailed and visually appealing, from university interiors to arcade settings. They boast about how easy it is to navigate these dungeons visually. A key feature they are showing off is the auto-mapping system, designed to be user-friendly. If players get lost in the complex 3D dungeons, the auto-map automatically records where you have been, and you can even place markers at up to 8 locations for important spots like shops or healing facilities. The completion rate is stated at 70%, and the magazine teases further details on game systems and magic in this issue, including a new system called Vice. This page continues discussing Shin Megami Tensei, Devil Summoner, focusing on the new Vice system, which is touted to make battles more exciting. The article highlights the use of polygons to create 2D field map screens, showing examples of locations like Rinkai Park and Asahi Ward, which are displayed with these polygon-based maps. The interview with Mr. Okada Kuji delves into the development process, revealing that the graphics are over halfway complete and the system is almost finished. He mentions that compared to previous titles, the battle scenes have drastically changed, especially regarding formations. The Vice system is explained as integrating Megaten's charm with strategic elements, aiming to create engaging battles where players need to consider how to utilize demons effectively and avoid simply button mashing. The goal is to reduce stress by making battles more strategic and less repetitive, offering players more choices in how they interact with their demon partners. The interviewer notes that the new system aims to make it feel like a proper RPG, where player decisions and partner relationships matter in combat. Mr. Okada confirms this and mentions they are aiming for a deeper and more enjoyable battle experience, thanks to the Vice system, ensuring players will find combat in this RPG to be very fun. The Vice system in Shin Megami Tensei, Devil Summoner, moves beyond simple button mashing, with demons acting based on personality and player relationship. Players command demons using options like defense and offense, with command level increasing control over time. Battle start messages are color-coded. Yellow indicates independent demon actions, while green signifies obedience. Building loyalty is key. As players fight with their demons, command levels rise, leading to more reliable obedience. The page also highlights spectacular magic effects, detailing various spells and their properties. The reviewer is particularly impressed with the visually engaging magic effects, praising how they enhance the battle experience on the SEGA Saturn. This page delves deeper into the battle system improvements of Shin Megami Tensei, Devil Summoner. It highlights the strategic element brought by battle formations. Unlike previous Megaten games, where demons were just graphically displayed, formations now impact gameplay. Enemies also utilize formations, dividing into front and back lines, making strategic positioning crucial for effective attacks and considering weapon ranges. The command system has also been refined with the introduction of the voice system, likely referring to the Vice system from the previous page. This system seemingly moves beyond simple button inputs, offering more nuanced control over demons during battle. The page mentions improvements to item and magic list displays, making them easier to navigate and use.
Finally, there's a section on enhanced status displays. Instead of just icons, enemy demon statuses are now visually represented by the demon's graphic itself, making it instantly clear what condition they are in. Statuses shown include bind, stone, happy, freeze, paralyze, sleep, charm, card, and poison, each with a short description of its effects in battle, like preventing movement, stopping commands, or causing gradual damage. The reviewer seems pleased with these visual and system improvements, making the game more user-friendly and strategic. Dragon Force is a character-driven simulation RPG, promising a delicious experience with its dual layers of gameplay. Developed by the team behind Magic Knight Rayearth, the game features over 120 characters and a story involving a prince, a prophecy, and the Holy Dragon War. The game boasts diverse battlefields and castle types, ranging from Japanese and Chinese styles to medieval and natural settings. Commanders will have access to 10 colors of special moves, hinting at a visually dynamic combat system. The page aims to generate excitement with its large cast, varied environments, and engaging battle system, portraying a grand RPG experience. This page delves deeper into the gameplay mechanics of Dragon Force. Building on the previous page's introduction, it emphasizes understanding the strengths of your own nation and exploiting the weaknesses of enemy nations to gain an advantage in the game. The page breaks down key gameplay elements into sections. Movement explains that as the story progresses, you'll be issuing various commands to your generals on the map. It highlights the strategic element of troop deployment and commander roles. The battle section showcases combat scenarios, pointing out that battles occur when you encounter enemies on the map or attack enemy castles. Tactical positioning is important to minimize damage and secure victory. Special moves are key, and using them effectively in battle is emphasized. Castle Town explains the command center aspect within your castle, where you can negotiate with captured enemy commanders to recruit them. You can also manage your own commanders within the castle to boost morale and loyalty among your troops. Finally, events are highlighted as a crucial part of the game, suggesting that numerous scenarios and story developments will unfold. It mentions scenes like war councils and key decisions, indicating a rich narrative experience alongside the strategic gameplay. The page seems excited about the immersive scenario and events, adding depth to the gameplay. Overall, the page paints a picture of a strategic RPG with layered gameplay, from large-scale army movements to character-driven castle management and a compelling story. Dragon Force is set on the Legendra continent, featuring 8 distinct nations. The Phandaria Empire is a military powerhouse, while the Izumo Kingdom excels in culture and martial arts. The Bozaduk Kingdom is a community of beast warriors, and the Tristane Kingdom values justice. The Moonpalace Kingdom is an elven nation connected to nature. The Highland Kingdom is agricultural. The Tobasu Kingdom is a merchant state, and the Tridonia Kingdom is a magical nation. Developers confirm 8 playable scenarios, each with a unique story based on the chosen lord. Playing as Goldark initiates immediate conflict. Battles involve strategic troop command and utilizing battle screens. Commanders can learn up to 3 special moves based on their class. Event scenes, though primarily still images, are crucial for the narrative. The game is slated for a winter release. This page continues the preview of Dragon Force, highlighting the massive cast of over 100 characters and the intricate relationships between them. The page is divided into sections detailing characters from the Highland Kingdom and the Phandaria Empire, expanding on the world of Legendra introduced previously. For the Highland Kingdom, we have Norn, a fighter and leader; Somalian, a knight; Link, a warrior and Wayne's retainer; Wayne himself, the Lord of Highland; and Nina, a priestess. Relationship diagrams show connections like rivalry, loyalty, and affection between these characters. Moving to the Phandaria Empire, Salabar is introduced as a commander of mounted troops, and Goldark, who was mentioned previously as a playable lord causing immediate conflict, is also detailed with his subordinates Gideon, a sorcerer; Lilia, a priestess; Grace, a bewitching woman; and Kalhard, a knight. Again, relationship diagrams illustrate power dynamics and personal connections within the Phandaria Empire. Finally, a section on non-player characters showcases Myril, a sorceress; Flest, a wise man; Strass, an alchemist; and Kasab, a kung fu master. These characters appear to have their own complex web of relationships, adding further depth to the game's narrative. The page is filled with character portraits and screenshots, giving a visual taste of Dragon Force's world and its extensive cast. This page continues the Dragon Force preview, showcasing the Moonpress and Tradnor country factions. Moonpress, commanded by Tefdris, features elite elven sniper units who excel at long-range attacks but are vulnerable in close combat. Tradnor country, led by Moulange, is a force that employs fire magic and strong ground troops, similarly with a weakness in close quarters. Each faction's section details key characters alongside relationship diagrams, giving a glimpse into the strategic and character-driven gameplay of Dragon Force. For Moonpress, characters like Glenn, Manoa, Reynold, Duran, Nicolemo, Leone, and Bannet are introduced, and for Tradnor country, characters such as Laderi, Sophie, Twa, Homura, Faust, Farah, Leviathan, and Riskachema are highlighted, expanding on the extensive cast of Dragon Force. This page continues the Dragon Force preview, now focusing on two more factions, Topaz Country and Tristan Country. Topaz Country is led by Leon, a monk, and their military strength lies in close-quarters combat with monk units, who excel in melee but are vulnerable to faster or ranged attackers. Key characters include Leon, Gallius, Yuka, Shaya, and Reisaku, with their relationships mapped out in a diagram alongside characters like Norman, Dane, Mayuria, Kohaku, Jubei, and Kazubuchi. Moving on to Tristan Country, ruled by the Knight Jukanon. Tristan's military is built around highly trained knights, well equipped with weapons and armor from their own mines. They are strong in melee engagements. Notable characters in Tristan include Junion, Murica, Iros, Ortega, Kiriko, and Joshua, and a relationship chart outlines their connections, also including characters like Grace. The page details the strategic elements and character depth within Dragon Force, showcasing the different factions and their leaders. This page continues the Dragon Force preview, now looking at Izumo Country and Bozak Country. Izumo is led by Kurin, a samurai general who uses unique swords in combat. Their army is composed of samurai units who are strong in physical attacks, especially against zombies and demons, but are weaker against ranged attacks and magic. Key figures in Izumo include Kurin, Mikazuki, Jubei the Ten Swords, Bakura, Sion, and Hurai, and their relationship is depicted in a chart showing connections of loyalty, love, and betrayal. Bozak Country is introduced, led by Nelta Juva, a sorcerer general who commands beastmen. Instead of weapons, their soldiers rely on magic. Bozak's strength lies in speed and surprise attacks, particularly in forests. Important characters in Bozak are Neltava, Ragi, Bagi, Mani, and Uni, with their family relationships shown in a diagram along with Gongos, York, Ganarad, Silbi, Nomayax, and Marshall. The page also gives short profiles of characters like Ragi, Bagi, Endu, Giol, Gasper, Gingal, Quen, and Hayate, detailing their roles and personalities within their respective countries. Dark Savior, a 3D action RPG for the SEGA Saturn, is introduced as a sequel with impressive depth and a unique sense of height and freedom. The game's story begins with bounty hunters transporting the monstrous Pyran to Jailer's Island aboard the ship Gleavy. Pyran escapes, causing chaos and the death of companions. Their protagonist, Luya, has been pursuing Piran for a decade. Piran, subdued by a carbon beam, breaks free using a soundwave attack, unleashing a rampage on the ship after the Gloopy is hit by a mysterious light. Screenshots highlight the 3D environments, gameplay, character art, and dialogue, promising a dramatic, cinematic experience. The reviewer is excited by the engaging story and impressive visuals. This page continues the focus on Dark Savior, highlighting the intense action scenes you can expect. It shows in-game moments, starting with a fire outbreak on the Gliavi ship, asking, "What will Luya do?" Screenshots demonstrate escaping the fire, jumping to avoid hazards, and the dynamic camera angles in 3D environments, emphasizing the vertical gameplay and cinematic feel. The text describes scenarios where you'll need to jump to avoid fire, and even collapsing floors falling from above, creating tense situations. The game promises various enemy encounters and action sequences, where dodging, defending, and attacking are key. The page then introduces more characters joining the adventure. We see character illustrations for Blaster, described as a comical and suspicious-looking guy, Seagarl, a muscular character skilled in hand-to-hand combat and weaponry, and Dokkel, a wise-looking old man described as an elite strategist. The text suggests these characters, despite their questionable appearances, may become allies depending on Luya's actions, implying choices in the game will affect your party. It warns against underestimating enemies based on looks, and emphasizes decisive combat. This page continues the spotlight on Dark Savior, focusing on the town of Jay-Z City on Jailers Island, which is the first location you'll visit. It's described as a port town where the protagonist arrives and is initially protected by the guards. The atmosphere of Jay-Z City is highlighted as somewhat suspicious, with strange buildings and people. It mentions you'll encounter people who might ask for help, and you'll need to decide whether to trust them or not. The page then moves on to showcase the completed status screens for various characters. We can see detailed stats for Luya, Yuki, Chirina, Seagarl, Velen, Dokkel, and Logiate. The text points out that stats like attack, defense, speed, and other data are now implemented and influencing gameplay, hinting that these elements will be important in the scenarios to come. Next up is an introduction to more partner characters, Apteras and Armormush. Apteras is described as a cool, dragon-like creature commanded by someone called Keruberos. Armormush is portrayed as a mysterious being, possibly related to the Kappa, with a jelly-like body and a sword. There's also a small feature on how monsters in Dark Savior are created, using polygons, showing the wireframe and rendered stages of a dragon-like monster. Finally, the page ends by questioning how all these characters will be connected to the main protagonist and the overall story. This page is dedicated to the game battle arena to Shinden Yura, announced as 50% complete, and highlighting that special moves and winning poses are now implemented. It mentions that this build is showing 50% completion, aiming for a year-end release. The page showcases several characters with screenshots and brief descriptions of their special moves. We see Eiji with his white tiger blade, Duke and his shoulder tackle and Justice Blade Cross, Rungo using a move called Island Drop, Mondo with powerful Gale Wind, Sophia using Aurora Revolution, Ellis with her Homing Swallow, and Gaia and Sho with their respective moves. The page also says that after completing the battle stages, the focus is now on the stronger characters. At the bottom, there are small screenshots previewing the stages for each of these characters. Eiji Stage, Kane Stage, Sophia Stage, Ellis Stage, Duke Stage, Horfei Stage, Mondo Stage, Gaia Stage, Rungo Stage, and Sho Stage, suggesting a stage for each main fighter in the game. Puyo Puyo 2 for SEGA Saturn is complete and launching October 27th for 4,800 yen. The game features a two-player battle mode, perfect for multiplayer fun. A promotional event is also mentioned, taking place in Shima City. Single player offers a Renshu practice mode for beginners, and a normal mode, mirroring the arcade version, with stages and boss battles. 2 mode is a new endurance challenge, battling all 36 characters. 2-player includes various versus modes like Tokuten Puyo, Sixko Tuko Keishi, Kote Puyo, Ojama Keishi, and Gyaku Ojama Keishi, allowing for customizable gameplay variations. This page is all about Virtua Racing for the SEGA Saturn, showcasing the new features and improvements in this home console versions. It's titled, Virtua Racing SEGA Saturn Further New Courses Added. See the new VR. The article highlights that this Saturn version is not just a simple port, but a new iteration of Virtua Racing. They've added CG animation for course introductions and implemented a 2-player split-screen mode for versus play. There's a focus on original modes for the Saturn version, specifically Grand Prix and Practice. Grand Prix mode allows you to progress from go-karts to Formula 1 cars based on race results. Practice mode lets you freely choose courses and cars, offering 5 cars and 10 courses initially, expandable to 2 players, for varied gameplay. A section called VR Checkpoint emphasizes the enhanced replay features in the console version. It boasts improved replay functionality with several camera angles, including VR14, multiple standard views, spin, camera rotating around the car, sky, overhead view, and TV-style broadcast angles. Finally, it introduces the 3 courses from the arcade version that are included. Big Forest, European course, beginner level, Bay Bridge, North American course, intermediate level, and Acropolis, Greek course, advanced level. Each course has a short description emphasizing its characteristics and difficulty, aimed at teaching players the core techniques of Virtua Racing. The descriptions mention the unique features of each track and the driving techniques required to master them. The SEGA Saturn version of Virtua Racing added 7 original courses, each detailed here. Alpine, a medium-level European course, features snowy Alps and a tunnel, 3.16 kilometers. Pacific Coast, a challenging North American superlevel track,
2.84 kilometers, includes elevation changes and hairpin turns. Diablo Canyon, another superlevel track, 2.96 kilometers, is set in a canyon with varied elevation and a jet coaster feel. Metropolis, a futuristic Japanese city course, 3.89 kilometers, offers a VR arcade feel with drifting spots and a tunnel. Surfers Speedway in Australia offers both ovals, 2.80 kilometers, and road course, 3.94 kilometers, options designed for high-speed racing. Amazon Falls, a beginner-friendly South American course, 3.68 kilometers, is set in a jungle and features moai statues. This page introduces Baku Baku Animal World Keeper Championship, coming to the SEGA Saturn from arcades. It's described as a puzzle game where you match falling food and animal blocks to clear them. The page highlights it as a refreshing puzzle experience with new rules compared to typical falling block games. Gameplay revolves around dropping animal and food blocks from above, rotating them to align and clear the board when food and matching animals meet. BB coins are mentioned as a gameplay mechanic, suggesting they add to the strategy. There's a section with developer Yoshiro Akata from AM3 Research, who explains the game's concept is about a fun puzzle experience for both arcade and home players. He emphasizes the unique aspects, like feeding animals, and mentions the opening movie is like Russian animation dolls, aiming for a fresh and interesting visual style. He also notes additions like mice and cheese elements. The game is listed as 70% complete, slated for release on November 10th, priced at 4,800 yen, classified as a puzzle game, and supporting 2 players. The reviewer thinks the rules bring a fresh take to the puzzle genre. This page is a guide on how to master chain combos in Baku Baku Animal World Keeper Championship. It starts by explaining the basics of chain reactions in the game, showing examples of good and bad setups, and emphasizing how to strategically place food to trigger chains. The guide then walks you through a practical example of building a multi-chain reaction. It uses screenshots to demonstrate a step-by-step chain, starting with bananas for the wolf, then carrots for the rabbit, and finally bones for the panda, resulting in a 4-chain combo. Towards the bottom there's an interview section where Akata-san, presumably the developer, talks about the game's design. He mentions that the characters are designed to be appealing, and despite some considering rabbits and carrots to be common, they aimed for a universally appealing style. He highlights the use of Japanese-style animals and mentions the positive reception in overseas location tests. He also teases future developments and thanks players for their support, suggesting they plan to continue supporting the game. It seems they are aiming to create a puzzle game that is enjoyable for a wide range of players and potentially expand it into a series. This page announces the upcoming game, Quo Vadis, highlighting that the multi-scenario animation is nearing completion. The article mentions that the game system and scenarios are solidifying, and teases an animation demo showcasing the game's depth and characters. For those eager to delve deeper into the world of Quo Vadis, they suggest checking out other media forms, like radio dramas and novels. Interestingly, Quo Vadis is getting a radio drama adaptation ahead of the game's release. This radio drama, titled Kusakabe Shien's Radio Quo Vadis, began airing on October 14th on Bunka, broadcasting every Saturday from 21:30 to 2200 p.m. Each episode is 15 minutes long and is broadcast weekly. It features the voice cast from the game, including Ryoka Yuzuki as Haru and Yumi Kakazu as Iris, with Maria Kawamura also appearing. The opening and ending themes of the drama, as well as in-game music, are performed by Yumi Kakazu, Yuko Serisawa, and Ryo Horikawa's QT, Quo Vadis Triangle, unit, creating a buzz around the game. The page also includes game information, stating it's an 80% complete simulation RPG, scheduled for release on December 21st, priced at 6,800 yen. It's a single-player game with mouse support. The reviewer notes that while the simulation parts are complete, the scenarios are still being fleshed out. They also highlight the impressive animation quality and the character designs by Mika Akatsuki, feeling the artistry of animation land there. There are also screenshots showing in-game animation and character portraits. Finally, there are photos of the radio drama cast and staff. This page delves deeper into the Quo Vadis game narrative, focusing on the simulated battles that the officer candidates are undergoing. We learn that these simulations, designed to test the elite cadets gathered from various nations, suddenly take an unexpected turn. The initial simulated battle, meant to be a straightforward exercise under the supervision of the Logesh instructor, is disrupted by the emergence of an unknown enemy. This unexpected development throws the candidates, including characters like Hal, Irina, and Wolf, into their first real combat scenario. The page highlights how the scenario subtly shifts, presenting players with choices and branching paths even within this early stage of the game. The screenshots showcase in-game dialogues and tactical battle scenes, emphasizing the strategic decision-making aspect of Quo Vadis. It seems players will need to adapt quickly as the simulated battles transform into genuine conflicts, requiring them to work together as a team despite their diverse national backgrounds. After successfully navigating the battle, the 6 cadets anticipate a debrief, but the page hints at a dramatic change awaiting them. The narrative suggests that their performance in this unexpected real combat situation has significant implications, and a major twist is on the horizon. The page ends with a cliffhanger, implying that the cadets' teamwork, forged across national lines, will be crucial to their future within the overarching narrative of Quo Vadis. This page showcases the SEGA Saturn game Mobile Suit Gundam, emphasizing its focus on the legendary rivalry between Amuro and Char. The game aims to recreate the Gundam universe as a side-scrolling action shooter, appealing to fans of the anime, especially adults who appreciate a more mature take, moving away from the super-deformed style. The page highlights key elements like new types, mobile suits, and the iconic characters. It boasts 10 stages filled with intense battles, putting players in control of Gundam to fight against Zaku and Goof mobile suits. 2 new gameplay systems are touted. New type attack, allowing for swift movements and precise shots, mirroring Amuro's abilities, and a support system. The support system brings in characters like Kai and Hayato piloting the gun tank, providing backup during gameplay. Players can call upon support from either mobile suits or support vehicles strategically within the stages. Screenshots illustrate the weapon selection process, the operation map for strategic planning, and in-game combat scenarios against classic Xeon mobile suits. The page promises a faithful recreation of the Gundam world in a thrilling, side-scrolling action format. This page reviews the SEGA Saturn game Mobile Suit Gundam, focusing on its stage adaptations of iconic anime scenes. The game incorporates Amuro's battles and famous lines. The first 4 stages are detailed. Stage 1, Gundam Standing on Earth, recreates the attack on Side 7, with Amuro piloting the Gundam against Char's Zaku. Stage 2, Atmospheric Entry, depicts the White Base's descent to Earth, battling Zaku's while facing intense pressure. Stage 3, Garma Howls, features the battle where Garma Zabi is defeated, highlighting his last words and battles against Dom mobile suits. Stage 4, Ramba Ral Special Attack, features Ramba Ral and his Gauf, emphasizing the need for Amuro to utilize the Gundam's superior capabilities against the skilled Xeon pilot in a desert environment. This page showcases Dragon Ball Z Shin Butoden for the Sega Saturn, boasting it as an absolute must-buy fighting game. It highlights the game's faithfulness to the original manga and anime, emphasizing that this Saturn version is the definitive edition. The page promotes a new Mr. Satan mode, exclusive to the Saturn, where you play as Hercule/Mr. Satan. The scenario involves Mr. Satan owing Android 18 money and entering the Tenkaichi Budokai tournament to win prize money to pay her back. It details how players will use Hercule's cunning and tricks to beat powerful characters. The game features familiar characters like Goku, Android 18, Vegeta, Frieza, Rikum, Super Buu, Cell, and Zarbon, each shown with a brief description of their role or fighting style. The screenshots display in-game action, showcasing the 2D fighting gameplay and special moves. The page also notes the game's release by Bandai in November, and the completion rate of the game is at 80%. It mentions the game uses a dual-screen setup and emphasizes the super deadly moves, confirming this as the ultimate Dragon Ball Z fighting experience on Saturn. This page introduces King the Spirits, a racing game where speed is the ultimate thrill. The game offers 6 types of vehicles to choose from, each with different engine performance and handling, encouraging players to pick a car that suits their style. A major feature is the split-screen mode for 2-player battles, which can be displayed either horizontally or vertically. The game boasts 3 courses modeled after real roads, promising varied and challenging driving experiences with full polygon graphics bringing the environments to life. Beautiful backgrounds are also highlighted as a key feature, enhancing the racing atmosphere. For players looking to improve, a replay mode is included, allowing you to review your races from various angles and fine-tune your driving technique. You can choose between a driver's view for immersive racing and a replay view to analyze your performance from different perspectives. The game, developed by Atlas, is stated to be 90% complete and is scheduled for release on November 11th, with a rack mode and 2-player capability, priced at 5,800 yen. The overall impression is that the game focuses on delivering exciting, high-speed races with visually appealing graphics and engaging multiplayer options. This page is all about Theme Park, a simulation game where you build and manage your own amusement park. It's mentioned as the first of its kind in the industry, a theme park management simulation that originated from a British idea in a Japanese setting. The game is developed by the renowned Peter Molyneux and Bullfrog Productions, known for titles like Populous and Syndicate. This version for Sega Saturn seems to be based on the original popular PSC game. The page highlights tips for creating a successful theme park, focusing on key elements. These include building paths, placing attractions, managing shops for profit, and being mindful of staff costs. It's emphasized that personnel expenses aren't trivial. Investing in development and outmaneuvering rivals are important aspects, and crucially, listening to and meeting the needs of your park guests is vital. There are screenshots showing gameplay and management screens. Some of the attractions mentioned are a bouncy castle, maze, ghost house, and jet coaster. The game is listed as 80% complete and scheduled for release on December 22nd, priced at 5,800 yen. It's a single-player simulation game and is compatible with the mouse. The page finishes with a thought about theme parks being full of dreams and hope, but managing them realistically is surprisingly challenging. The Tower is a building simulation game where players design and manage their own skyscraper. The objective is to build a towering structure, attract residents and businesses, and achieve a 5-star rating, potentially culminating in a grand cathedral. Players can design various floors, including offices, restaurants, and hotels, strategically choosing businesses to keep residents happy and generate revenue. Managing finances and customer attraction is crucial. The Saturn version will offer strategic enhancements compared to the original PC game. Enthusiasts praise its freedom, with one player highlighting its simplicity and flexibility compared to SimCity. The Saturn version is 60% complete and will support the Saturn mouse. This page showcases Virtual Open Tennis, a polygon-based tennis game for Sega Saturn. The tagline is, "Training to aim for the world's best." It seems to be the first tennis game on Saturn to use polygon graphics. The page highlights that the game features realistic player movements, exhibition and tournament modes, and a training mode to hone your skills using a marker system to predict ball movements, making it accessible for beginners. The page details different training modes such as service training, smash training, return training, and a unique can game where you aim to knock down cans on the opponent's court. 2 tournament types are mentioned: Challengers Cup for beginners and Imagineer World Championships for advanced players. The game allows up to 4 players for doubles matches and also supports single-player exhibition matches. The screenshots demonstrate in-game action, training modes, and replay features, emphasizing dramatic camera angles and diverse playstyles including doubles and supershots. The bottom section mentions that even single players can enjoy doubles with computer partners, highlighting a range of gameplay options. Super Real Mahjong Graffiti for the Sega Saturn is a compilation of 3 classic arcade strip mahjong games. This X-rated title features undressing scenes upon winning matches, with no censorship. The gameplay involves one-on-one mahjong contests against various female characters across 8 difficulty levels. While player hands aren't displayed, character facial expressions add visual interest. Losing results in point deductions and eventual game overs, though continues, are available. The game, featuring Kasumi as a prominent character, includes a short essay about the series. Scheduled for release on November 24th, priced at 8,800 yen and aimed at a single player, the game is almost complete and carries an 18+ rating, promising classic strip mahjong action. This page introduces Tokimeki Mahjong Paradise, a game that seems to blend dating sim elements with mahjong. The headline emphasizes that despite appearances, the mahjong matches are serious and fair, not rigged, even if the visuals might suggest a lighter tone. It mentions that the visual scenes are about picking up girls, but the mahjong itself is proper 2-player mahjong. This is presented as a sequel in the Tokimeki Mahjong Paradise series. The article suggests focusing on visual aspects first, but strategy is also important to win against characters. Two characters are highlighted: Uzuki Kyoka, a 19-year-old college student, and Kagura Hazuki, a 21-year-old office lady. There's a table detailing each character's special mahjong skills or tendencies. For example, Uzuki Kyoka is associated with dark-haired killing intent, and Kagura Hazuki with space type. Other characters listed are Yayoi Yayoi, Mizushima Miyu, and Tsukiyono Yayoi, with skills like Wind type, One Through type, and Dora type respectively. The page then moves to game settings you can adjust before playing, like sound options, including mono or stereo, and background music on or off. Finally, there's a section on a winning strategy for Tokipara, focusing on using open reach effectively in mahjong, explaining it as a powerful tactic, and recommending players to declare it confidently to their opponents. The screenshots show in-game mahjong action and menu screens. The page discusses Thunderstorm and Road Blaster, highlighting their backstories, and a special Saturn mode. This mode allows players to customize their experience with arranged graphics, sound, and systems. Thunderstorm tasks players with piloting an attack helicopter to combat a global terrorist threat across diverse global locations, culminating in a final cave showdown. Road Blaster presents a revenge narrative against a biker gang. Players drive a powerful car to chase down the enemy in intense car chases. The page also acknowledges these games' interactive movie-like qualities, similar to LD games, and caters to fans of that genre, asking if they feel nostalgia for the 10-year gap since LD games and what they think of this new gaming experience. This page introduces Life Game DX for the SEGA Saturn, emphasizing it as the definitive party game version of the classic board game Life. The game boasts polygon graphics, making the characters and visuals more appealing, and features around 1,000 events to keep gameplay varied. The map screen is designed like a driving game, offering a new perspective. The game is slated for a December release, priced at 5,800 yen, and supports up to 4 players. The page highlights that it faithfully recreates the board game experience. Screenshots show character customization, where you can choose facial features and hairstyles, car selection screens with options like American cars, sports cars, and sedans, and gameplay on a vibrant roadmap with event spaces. There's an interview with Mr. Naoyuki Takada from Takara, who describes Life Game as a microcosm of life, where players experience different life stages and events, aiming to become a billionaire. He mentions the development team focused on event variety, aiming for over 1,000, and improving the game feel compared to previous iterations. He expresses confidence in the game's appeal and the engaging gameplay experience it offers. Uranai Monogatari, a fortune-telling game for the SEGA Saturn, offers insights into your fortune and personality using 3 methods. Name Judgment analyzes your name. Tarot utilizes the Celtic cross-spread with major arcana cards guided by Semirari Sensei. And Heisei Kaiyun employs 9-star astrology based on your birth year and date. Developed by GFRI and released on October 27 for 5,800 yen, the game promises serious insights applicable to business decisions. It caters to all ages and includes a bonus dream analysis feature. Advertised as the top fortune-telling software, it aims to alleviate anxieties about luck and relationships by providing comprehensive fortune-telling methods on a single CD-ROM. Game no Tetsujin, the Shanghai, is a mahjong tile puzzle game by Sunsoft, available for approximately 2,266 yen. It features 5 modes, including the core puzzle games, Shanghai, Dragon, and Forbidden City. Iron Man Play offers continuous random puzzles, while Story Play unfolds a narrative centered on a dragon. Each puzzle type has distinct rules. Shanghai involves pairing tiles. Dragon connects pairs with a limited bend line, and Forbidden City requires clearing a path with clicks. This series is the first to incorporate a story mode. The developers recommend starting with Shanghai, progressing to Dragon and Forbidden City for increased difficulty. The game, released on October 13th, supports single-player mouse control, is priced at 6,800 yen, and is a different Shanghai from Shanghai Wanli no Shuju. This page is a special feature focused on Konami games for the Sega Saturn. It highlights Konami as a consistently high-quality software maker that has released 4 titles in just half a year for the Saturn and plans to continue releasing hit titles. The article specifically introduces Snatcher as a famous cyberpunk adventure game coming to the Saturn. It emphasizes that this version is a remake of the original PC games and will include the previously unreleased third part of the story. The text suggests this Saturn version will be a definitive edition with enhanced graphics and sound. The bullet points list features such as it being an adventure game, release date and price being undecided, one player only, and mouse compatibility. The page also features screenshots from Snatcher, including scenes with characters and in-game graphics. The text mentions this is going to be a great cyberpunk adventure experience on Saturn. The next page continues the focus on Konami and their upcoming game Snatcher for the Sega Saturn. It highlights Snatchers as set in Neo-Kobe City in 2040, where bioroids are replacing humans. The story revolves around a mysterious outbreak caused by biohazard Lucifer Alpha, 50 years prior. The game features characters like Jillian Seed, who is a junker, Katrina Gibson, Jamie Seed, Mika Slayton, Jean Jack Gibson, Benson Cunningham, and Harry Benson, and the support robot Metal Gear MK2. There are screenshots from the game showcasing the visual style. The page includes a comment from London Kobayashi, who worked on the MSX version in '88, expressing excitement for this new version and calling it a masterpiece, reminiscent of cyberpunk works, and praising its cool and stylish presentation. It mentions that this Snatcher will be released on Saturn, implying it's a significant upgrade from previous versions like the PC Engine, and even suggests a PlayStation version is also being considered or is already in development. This page shines the spotlight on Konami's upcoming puzzle game, Chibi Maruko-chan's Match Puzzle Ball, for the Saturn and other consoles. It's a 2-player competitive puzzle game based on the popular anime character. Apparently, fans have been asking for a versus mode, and Konami delivered. This game is described as a console port of an arcade title from last year, and is touted as a straightforward puzzle game with easy-to-understand rules but deep gameplay, emphasizing the strong personalities of the Chibi Maruko-chan characters. The game seems to involve matching colored balls, and clearing groups of 3 or more sends attack balls to your opponent. Screenshots illustrate the gameplay with Maruko and Tamae in versus matches. It highlights that understanding character-specific strategies is key to victory. Interestingly, there's a section pondering the fate of Konami's classic Twinbee series, asking if we'll ever see Twinbee again, showing they are aware of fan nostalgia for their older titles. The page also mentions Konami's arcade presence, with Puzzle Ball Part 2 launching in arcades in September, alongside other arcade titles like Midnight Run, Sarasuju 2, and Heavy Express Roller, showing Konami's diverse arcade lineup at the time, and hinting at the excitement for bringing that arcade energy to the Saturn and home consoles. They are clearly hoping to bring the same kind of fun arcade experience to home consoles, with Chibi Maruko-chan's Match Puzzle Ball, mentioning characters like Yumi-chan's Baby and Penguin Adventure Papa will appear in this game. Konami's Mr. Kitawe addresses concerns about their Saturn game development. While initially PlayStation-focused, they're now heavily invested in Saturn, aiming to deliver quality titles. Powerful Pro Baseball on Saturn was well received, and player feedback guides future development. The Saturn version of Tokimeki Memorial is an enhanced port with potential for extra content, possibly across 3 CDs. Twinbee Taisen Dama is confirmed for Saturn. Konami is shifting to CD-ROM and has Eternal City and Policenauts in development for Saturn. They're considering future Dracula, Castlevania games. Kitawe emphasizes a commitment to creating enjoyable, high-quality Saturn titles, signaling their dedication to the platform. Konami's Twinbee Deluxe Pack, commemorating the series' 10th anniversary, is a shooting game for 1 or 2 players, designed for all ages and retailing at 5,800 yen. The game emphasizes gorgeous visuals and is built on the Yahoo Twinbee system. Gameplay involves standard and charged shots for both air and ground attacks, bombs and punches. A key mechanic is the charge shot system, offering 4 different power-ups. A core Twinbee element, the bell power-up system, is also highlighted. Shooting bells hidden in clouds changes their color, granting various power-ups. Yellow bells provide standard armaments. White gives speed. Red increases shot power. Green creates clones. And light blue offers a barrier. Collecting bells in sequence also awards points, encouraging high-score play. This page is all about the items and characters in Yahoo Twinbee, going deeper into the gameplay mechanics. It breaks down the item power-ups, explaining the familiar bell system where shooting clouds reveals bells that change color to give you different abilities. Yellow bells are standard, white for speed, red for shot power, green for clones, and light blue for a barrier. Collecting them in order boosts your score. The page details specific power-up items. The Vulcan for rapid fire, Spread Bomb for wide explosions, Bazooka for powerful single shots, Four-Way which shoots in multiple directions, and Fire for flame attacks. It also mentions a character item that helps recover lives, and the emergency vehicle, which is another life-saving item. There's a character relationship chart showing how characters like Flute, Melora, Light, Pastel, and Doctor, or Warumon, are connected, indicating friendships, familial bonds, and rivalries within the game's story. Finally, the page touches upon attack strategies like the wave shot/twin attack, which is a powerful shot used in combination, and the Hanjiki blowout attack, a kind of reflected or bounced attack using the environment to your advantage. It looks like they're giving players tips on how to effectively use these items and understand the game's characters to get the most out of Yahoo Twinbee. This guide offers strategies for stages 1 to 4 of Yahoo Twinbee on normal difficulty. Stage 1, Sharia Island, favors power-ups, speed boosts, and barriers against predictable enemy patterns, and the high-speed combat machine shooter Ace Mid-Boss. Stage 2, Ruins, features challenging homing enemies and a mid-boss test cannon. Dodge the boss's flame attacks, utilizing spread bombs. Stage 3, C, involves enemies from above and below, forced scrolling, and wave motion guns. The boss, the TV Dilbits, requires aiming at the center. Stage 4, Aerial Corridor, has numerous enemies, cat hand grabs, and giant cat heads, and requires strategic dodging and focused combat. The guide hints at content beyond Stage 5, mentioning Harpe of Happiness and Tower of Mebius. Konami's dedication to quality is highlighted, mentioning Ganbare Goemon, and the upcoming Datana Twinbee Yahoo! Deluxe Pack. This page is dedicated to SEGA Sports World Series Baseball and is hyping up the realistic baseball experience on the Saturn. The page highlights the tornado pitching method as a key feature, emphasizing the game's focus on pitching. It talks about how the game aims to recreate the real-life excitement of baseball, allowing players to experience the thrill of a ballpark and the major leagues on their Saturn console. The article points out the realistic player details, like faces and batting stats. It mentions various game modes, including Exhibition, Pennant Race, Playoffs, All-Star Game, Home Run Derby, and database options, offering a wide range of gameplay. The game boasts realistic commentary and a variety of camera angles. The page also notes the game is 80% complete and lists the release date as November 17th with a price of 5,800 yen for the SPT version. The reviewer suggests enjoying virtual sports in moderation, recommending about 3 hours of playtime a day. Overall, the page promotes World Series Baseball as a feature-rich and realistic baseball game for Saturn fans. This page is all about the upcoming F1 game, and it's looking pretty exciting. They're calling it F1 Live Information, emphasizing the real-time feel and commentary during races, which sounds immersive. The game aims to perfectly recreate the world of F1 racing, focusing on delivering a realistic experience for fans. The page highlights that both the cars and the circuits are incredibly accurate and based on the real thing from the '95 F1 season. They mention famous circuits like Monte Carlo, Suzuka, and Hockenheim, showing off screenshots of each. It seems like you can customize your machine too, adjusting things like front and rear wings, tires, and fuel in the pit stop to affect performance during the race. There's even a replay feature so you can review your performance after the race and strategize for the next one. They're showing off some cool in-game shots, including the pit stop process and the replay screen. The game is currently 80% complete and is slated for release on November 2nd, priced at 5,800 yen. It looks like it will support racing controllers as well. Overall, it's shaping up to be a pretty authentic and detailed F1 racing experience on the Saturn. Hangin' Jeep 95 hides a wealth of secrets beyond its initial appearance. The game features techniques like the power slide for sharper turns and the start dash for a speed boost. Unlocking additional content is a key part of the experience. There are 5 hidden bikes to unlock through race victories and fulfilling course-specific conditions. Additionally, the game boasts 6 GP courses, with the final 3 unlocked by placing in the top 3 on previous courses. Achieving first place in all 6 GP courses unlocks the Endurance GP race, a time attack mode. Finally, earning first place in all modes, including GP and Endurance, unveils the Mirror Course mode, which reverses all tracks for a new challenge. This page showcases Victory Goal, a SEGA Saturn soccer game emphasizing a new level of realism. It highlights key gameplay elements. Basic operation focuses on using the controller effectively, detailing button functions for actions like short passes, long passes, tackles, and viewpoint changes, essential for mastering the game. Viewpoint importance stresses the strategic advantage of switching perspectives. Long view for overall field awareness, and short view for close-up action and precise passing. Post-play emphasizes strategic positioning in front of the goal, advocating for direct shooting from centering, and highlighting it as a path to scoring impressive goals. Finally, Goal Rush celebrates the excitement of scoring, showing dynamic in-game messages like, "Bravo," "Get goal," "Perfect," and "Super," that enhance the feeling of accomplishment. The page uses screenshots to illustrate these points and features a table displaying team names and scores, likely showcasing game results or league standings within the game. Overall, the page is promoting Victory Goal as a deep and engaging soccer experience on the SEGA Saturn. This page introduces a new SEGA Saturn J-League Pro Soccer Club simulation game. It's all about building and managing your own J-League team from the ground up. The game kicks off with you establishing a brand new club in your chosen hometown, letting you customize everything from the club's name and uniform to its sponsors and overall style. You'll be picking a team from a selection or even creating a totally original one, deciding on names like Rambo or Provice, which apparently have meanings rooted in Japanese. Once your club is set up, player development takes center stage. The game emphasizes training, where you'll need to guide your players' progress with practice regimes twice a week. It looks like you can really fine-tune training, focusing on individuals or specific positions to boost your team's overall strength. Beyond just training players, you'll be deep in the business side of running a club. Each month you're faced with a bunch of crucial decisions, from setting advertising budgets and ticket prices to managing fan clubs and keeping the facilities in top shape. It seems you'll be dealing with player transfers, scouting, and even international player acquisitions, all while keeping a close eye on the finances to ensure your club thrives. The page highlights that careful monthly planning and financial management are key to success in this detailed simulation. This page is the SEGA Saturn Soft Complete Guide, and it seems to be a thorough look at games available after release. It looks like they're highlighting games you can really sink your teeth into and enjoy for a long time, not just focusing on the newest titles. Featured in the guide are Nobunaga's Ambition, Lord of Darkness, Graduation 2, Neo Generation, Augusta Masters 3, and Steam Gear Mash, each with page numbers listed. The page is visually dominated by a quirky, 3D robot character, which could be a mascot for this guide section. It's presented as a guide to really dive into the depth of the SEGA Saturn's software library. This guide for Nobunaga's Ambition, Lord of Darkness on SEGA Saturn provides a beginner's strategy overview. It advises newcomers to carefully select their daimyo, recommending those with strong coastal territories. The guide stresses the importance of managing money, which fuels all actions. Internal affairs is key to boosting income through commerce, emphasizing the skills of politics, wisdom, and desire for officers. Maintaining popular loyalty by giving rice and gold, and selling surplus rice, are critical for financial stability. Diplomacy is also discussed. The guide suggests against making enemies early on, and encourages alliances, but warns against over-reliance on them. It emphasizes the need to balance diplomacy with maintaining a strong military force for self-preservation. This guide for Nobunaga's Ambition, Lord of Darkness, focuses on military strength, backstage maneuvers, officer education, and strategic shopping. Building a strong army through recruitment and troop training is paramount. Prioritize troop, morale, attack, and defense. Before battles, position troops strategically. employ negotiation tactics, like causing defections, outflow, and internal dissent to weaken the enemy.
Send officers on disruptive missions.
M. Invest in officer education by using strategy and war commands.
Mentor lower stat officers with higher stat ones to accelerate growth
Early on. Purchase horses for their mobility. Trade with merchants to acquire horses and other valuable items, and don't hesitate to haggle for better prices. This article offers strategies for achieving the perfect teacher, ending in the simulation game, Graduation 2 Neo Generation. The player takes on the role of a homeroom teacher, guiding students by understanding their individual traits. The article provides guidance from the development team. Key advice includes focusing on students' weaknesses early on to balance stats, and prioritizing their desire to learn. Managing study schedules to avoid burnout or conflicts is crucial.
Group study and self-study are recommended to boost academic ability.
The article also warns against excessive praise and emphasizes the importance of managing guidance and teaching effects. To get students into top universities, the article highlights specific stat requirements. A direction score of 70+ and dignity of 50+ are needed. Furthermore, the total evaluation score must be at least 23. The article emphasizes carefully managing student stats, particularly in English, Japanese, and math, to achieve optimal results. This guide offers strategies for achieving the perfect teacher ending in Graduation 2 Neo Generation. Key advice focuses on maximizing student stats through strategic actions during different game phases. The first semester emphasizes desire to learn and using free actions wisely. Summer and second semester/winter vacation focus on direction and increasing strictness alongside continued use of free actions. The third semester is a final push, prioritizing strict teaching and evaluation. A critical element is raising the national language stat by at least 10 points. Saving progress with a RAM cartridge is recommended. The guide includes a quick access button for parameters. The Omake karaoke scene unlocks after the end-of-year party and is accessed by reloading the saved game. The editorial department results and Riverhill mock exam results sections provide examples of successful stat builds. Masters Harukanaru Augusta 3 for SEGA Saturn is promoted as the ultimate golf game, boasting realistic graphics and immersive gameplay. It features 100% completion and multiplayer for up to 4 players. The game includes specific advice for 4 holes on the Masters course. Hole 4. Focus on avoiding bunkers. Hole 6. Play safely to avoid bunkers and go for a second putt win. Hole 12. Navigate water hazards and ob areas, adjusting aim based on wind. Hole 16 requires pinpoint accuracy, strategic tree aiming, and adjusting for pin position. The game aims to provide a detailed and strategic golf simulation with challenging course design.
This page introduces gameplay techniques for the SEGA Saturn game Clockwork Knight 2, originally titled Steam Gear Mash. It highlights essential tips for players to master. The page covers several techniques, starting with how to reach high places, explaining that Mash's jump height is limited to 1 block, and suggesting using boxes or subweapons to destroy black blocks to reach higher areas. It then discusses tricks for diagonal walls, advising players not to be deceived by the perspective, and to utilize jump attacks. The page also provides advice on using bombs effectively, recommending their use against enemies both above and below Mash. It also details how bombs can be used safely against walls by getting close and throwing them. Another section is about finding hidden items in hard-to-toast locations, urging players to check dead angles in the isometric view for potential item locations. It uses a screenshot example of a hidden item chest behind some blocks. Lastly, it gives tips on defeating airborne enemies, recommending jumping attacks, and using items found within boxes carried by these enemies. The final section, titled Lock's Recommendation, introduces the lock mechanic, which fixes Mash's attack direction. It suggests using lock to easily defeat enemies, especially when surrounded. The page ends with a Takara prize competition, inviting readers to send in their impressions of Mash or requests for Takara Saturn games to win prizes. This page reveals hidden commands for Clockwork Knight 2. Inputting up, up, down, down, left, right, X, Z, and start on the title screen enables stage select. Another code, up, up, down, down, left, right, Y, Z, and start, potentially unlocks a special appearance by Pipa, the main character from Clockwork Knight 1, though only for 999 lottery winners. The page also showcases winning entries from a Trap Idea contest,
Winning ideas include a growing wooden pot trap, a rising toilet trap, and a thorny flower trap. Other honorable mentions included a bamboo dragonfly and a transparent cup barrier. SEGA was impressed with the creativity and hints at potentially implementing these player-submitted ideas in future games or updates. They encourage continued participation in future contests. This page showcases more of the winning trap ideas for Clockwork Knight 2 from a player contest. First up is the turntable idea, using record rotation to control enemy movement, praised for its clockwork style. Then there's the new attack method, utilizing the screen's edge to defeat enemies, which Sega thought was a clever attack strategy. Another idea, 2P operable cannon, features a large cannon for 2 players, lauded for its cooperative play and large-scale feel. The hellish page-turning trap involves a book that flips pages to drop enemies, appreciated for its stage integration. The origami transforming enemy introduces a paper enemy that shifts shapes, noted for its unique polygon design. Lastly, the coin book trap is a book that releases a shower of coins, combining a trap with a reward. The page also lists other participants in the contest, including names like Mr. Yasuda, Mr. Hara, Mr. Toyama, and many others who submitted great ideas. This page is all about Lunar Express, the Saturn version of Lunar, which is currently in development. It seems they are also making a Game Gear version, so it's definitely one to watch. The development is progressing smoothly, promising new graphics for Saturn, brand new scenarios, characters, and maps. They're aiming to evolve the world from the previous game, reassuring fans of the original. They emphasize that this Saturn version will deliver a fresh, new experience. The page also features an illustration board corner by Mr. Hajime Sato. He's been creating illustration boards that capture the game's essence. This time, we get a look at 2 new illustrations. One depicts ruins in a forest, with sounds of machines and flying ships, hinting at a bygone era. The other shows a grand battle scene, with remnants of warships and airships, both illustrations seemingly depicting the history of the lunar world. Finally, in this month's President Takahashi Jam section, he mentions that the game's backbone is taking shape, and they are showing off the scenario in their blog for program movement confirmation. He also talks about incorporating ideas from Mr. Okano regarding character relationships, moving swiftly into the immediate implementation phase. The scenario is nearing completion, and they are about to finalize the finer details. He ends by saying that once the thinking part is done, the physical labor begins, with a laugh. The Lunar series is expanding. Besides a Saturn release, a new school-themed RPG titled Lunar Walking School is coming to the Game Gear. The game features 4 main heroines: Wine, a magic user; Senya, a determined student; Lena, a food-loving dreamer; and Eri, a serious, intelligent girl. Development updates include a visit to Monzen Nakacho, with the team praying at a shrine and enjoying local food. The developers are reworking the scenario and taking advantage of the Mega Crady's capabilities. They hint at significant character changes and ask for patience. The next issue will feature Mr. Juma discussing the Saturn game and his love for okonomiyaki. This page is showcasing Sega's new arcade game lineup announced at the JAMA show, dubbed Sega Am Rush. The spotlight is on Sky Target, a Model 2 arcade game that is 70% complete and slated for release in October. They are calling it a hyper dogfight experience, emphasizing pure thrill and excitement. The game aims to deliver exhilarating 3D shooting action, moving away from simulation-heavy titles. Sky Target promises classic arcade shooting fun, where you pick from 4 different fighter jets and take down waves of enemies. The game boasts simple, one-stick operation controls, much like Afterburner, with dedicated missile and Vulcan buttons, emphasizing easy and intuitive gameplay. The developers, in an interview, explained that Sky Target was initially conceived as Wing War, and they aimed to make it more accessible to a wider audience, using the power of Model 2 hardware. They drew inspiration from Afterburner, but with a focus on modern military aircraft and huge bosses to enhance the gaming experience. They are also keen on player feedback and are looking for user input. Adding to the excitement, the game features over 30 types of real-world aircraft as enemies, in addition to massive aerial boss encounters. Playable aircraft include famous fighters like the F-14D, F-15, S/MTD, F-16C, and even the Rafale M.
The page highlights screenshots showing intense dogfights, large bosses, and the game's overall fast-paced action. It sounds like Sega is really pushing for an adrenaline-pumping arcade experience with Sky Target. This page highlights two exciting Model 2 arcade games from Sega. First up is Cyber Troopers Virtualon, which is 85% complete and due for release by the end of the year. The game is touted for its amazing graphics, depicting super robot battles in a virtual space. It mentions that you can choose from 8 different Virtualoids, and the screenshots show intense robot combat action. The article also talks about the buzz around the live monitor display at the JAMA show, where people were captivated by the Virtualon gameplay on large screens. Then there's Sega Manx TT, provisional title, a motorcycle racing game which is currently 20% complete and also planned for a year-end release on Model 2. This game is all about delivering a true-to-life racing experience, showcasing impressive graphics for a motorcycle game. The screenshots reveal 2 viewpoints available, rider view and a back view. It also mentions a special hang-on style cabinet, suggesting an immersive physical experience for players. The page seems excited about both these upcoming titles and the new gaming experiences they will offer. Fighting Vipers, Sega M2's follow-up to Virtua Fighter, is poised to revitalize the 3D fighting genre. While retaining the 3-button control scheme, Fighting Vipers aims for faster, more accessible gameplay, emphasizing easy-to-learn combo techniques. The game features a 3-beat combo rhythm compared to Virtua Fighter's 2-beat, making combos more dynamic. Even button mashing can yield satisfying results, welcoming new players. Gameplay highlights include Big Move Fast Replay for dramatic effect, and the use of wire net fences within arenas. These fences offer strategic options for both offense and defense, including guard attacks. Screenshots revealed diverse characters like Dominique and Bon, suggesting varied playstyles. Fighting Vipers aims to deliver a visually engaging and beginner-friendly experience while maintaining strategic depth. This page previews Sega M2's Fighting Vipers, a fighting game considered a successor to Virtua Fighter, emphasizing its exhilarating rhythm and character personalities. An interview with chief designer Kataoka Yuichi reveals development started about a year prior, influenced by international collaboration. While based on VF, Fighting Vipers boasts a different gameplay feel, with button-mashing combos and a faster 3-beat rhythm. The game features a big move-fast replay system and strategic arena elements like wire net fences. The early popularity boiling point section introduces the Vipers, showcasing their diverse designs, including characters like Grace, Skater, Jane, Tomboy, and Honey, Cosplayer, with their ages and brief descriptions. The game highlights unique character designs and a fast-paced, combo-driven combat style, differentiating it from its predecessor. This page dives into an interview with Yu Suzuki of AM2, focusing on the upcoming arcade game Virtua Fighter 3 and the cutting-edge Model 3 arcade hardware. Suzuki explains that while their current title Fighting Vipers uses a slightly enhanced Model 2 board, Virtua Fighter 3 will fully leverage the power of Model 3 to deliver incredible 3D graphics, emphasizing the improved polygon display capability and processing speed. He mentions that VF3 will feature new characters, including a Japanese female character, and clarifies that these designs aren't directly tied to anime. When asked about a Saturn version of Virtua Fighter 3, Suzuki suggests it's still in the future, as they are focused on the arcade release first, hinting that Model 3 games are being made. He also touches upon the possibility of a Saturn port for Fighting Vipers, stating it depends on the arcade game's success, highlighting the arcade version as the priority. The page also teases visible and hidden VF3 characters with screenshots, which are showcased as a sneak peek from AM2's development materials, appearing in a calendar. We also see screenshots of Fighting Vipers characters like Tokyo, Bon, and Honey, further promoting the game and its potential Saturn release. The interviewer and Suzuki discuss how 3D is becoming a key factor in future games. This page features an interview with Kurokawa Fumio, the AM2 publicity manager, who discusses the upcoming Virtua Fighter anime series. He explains, the anime is designed to broaden the Virtua Fighter audience, attracting not just hardcore gamers, but also younger viewers, from elementary school kids upwards. The aim is to create a media mix that enhances the Virtua Fighter brand, eventually leading to Virtua Fighter 3. He mentions the anime will feature storylines and characters familiar to fans, but also aims to reach new viewers, comparing it to approaches taken with other media franchises. There's also a section highlighting the relationships between Virtua Fighter characters,
like Akira, Sarah, Lao, and Pi. It emphasizes that the anime, planned for about 24 episodes, will delve into the intricate storylines of the Virtua Fighter world, promising a captivating experience for viewers. Additionally, there's an announcement promoting the launch of Arcade Game Magazine on September 30th. The magazine promises in-depth coverage of arcade games, especially titles from AM2 like Virtua Fighter 2 and Fighting Vipers, and will feature interviews with game developers. It's presented as a magazine for serious arcade game fans, offering detailed strategies and the real appeal of arcade gaming. A special bonus mentioned is an included B2 size poster from Arcade Game Magazine. Road to 3 Chronicles. The development of Virtua Fighter 3, tracing its evolution from the original 1993 game. The article highlights the creation of the VF world, focusing on character development and the shift from generic characters to more distinctive ones. Early prototypes and polygon models, including those of Jackie and Lao, are discussed. The transition to 3D and the polygon count of characters, like Martial Law's prototype, are also mentioned. A key element is the introduction of boss characters for Virtua Fighter 3, finalized around late 1994, with descriptions of Majit the Dole, the Korsko brothers, Akagane 3 samurai, and grayish martial artist and capoeira. The article hints at the challenges overcome and new developments in the road to 3. This article discusses the Virtua Fighter CG Portrait Series, a collection of detailed CG images based on the Virtua Fighter 3 characters. Created by Mr. Isaki, these theme packs offer around 30 to 40 images per character, showcasing them in high-quality detail. The goal is to capture the character's appeal, emphasizing both masculinity and femininity, exceeding the visual fidelity of in-game models. The first album, Dancing Shadows, features Jackie and Sarah Bryant editions, aiming for a visually striking presentation. The series launched on November 8th, with Jackie and Sarah's albums released initially, followed by Pain and Akira. Priced at 5,000 yen for 5 characters or 50,000 yen for a full set, the series promises to provide an in-depth look at the Virtua Fighter 3 roster, presenting them in ways not seen in the game. This page is all about the thrilling upcoming game Virtua Cop 2. It seems to be previewing Stage 3, which is set in a chaotic subway and transitions into a heavily guarded enemy base. The article describes intense gunfights inside train cars and through secret underground passages, emphasizing the need for sharp reflexes and accurate shooting. It highlights gameplay moments, like enemies appearing from trains, and engaging in long-range sniper battles, especially challenging in expert mode. The page also showcases some cool AM2 research special gifts being offered. These include Virtua Cop 2 themed patches and jackets, plus handheld LCD games for Daytona USA VRTX, and Virtua Fighter, making for some desirable prizes for SEGA fans. Overall, the page is building excitement for Virtua Cop 2 and rewarding players with some awesome merchandise. This page dives into the world of AM2 research and their new surfing game, Virtua Surf. They're asking fans for input, specifically about using Virtua Fighter characters as surfers, and whether Wolf would be a good model. It looks like they're really taking player feedback into consideration as they develop the game. There's a section where AM2 staff are excited to hear responses from everyone about Virtua Surfs, hinting at official announcements and exciting developments to come. Elsewhere, they're highlighting top Virtua Fighter players in their Saturn Famous People section, showcasing a high score for Sarah Bryant. They also mention someone achieved the first Akira name on the Saturn version of Virtua Fighter. Akira and Pi from Virtua Fighter 2 are featured, discussing the latest cover illustration and mentioning tie-ins with a TV anime series, with CG portraits and TV animation projects underway. Finally, the AM2 Research Gallery shows off fan artwork and comics, and they're encouraging readers to send in postcards with illustrations and ideas. Apparently, they're giving away special t-shirts designed by Yuji Uekawa as prizes for the best submissions. It seems they really value player input and want to connect with their fans. This software review section features 3 game reviews across 3 groups: Lady Users Group, Game Mania Group, and Guest Game Writers. Nobunaga's Ambition. Tenka Susei received mixed reviews. The Lady Users Group found it complex, score 7, while Game Mania Group considered it a staple title, score 8. Guest Game Writers praised its PC version faithfulness, but noted long loading times, score 7. Aim no Tetsujin. The Shanghai was better received by the Lady Users Group,
who liked its simple rules. Score 5. Game Mania Group enjoyed its new mode. Score 6. Solitaire was positively reviewed, especially by Lady Users Group. Score 7. As a stress reliever, guest game writers. Score 7. Highlighted its numerous puzzle variations and value.
The Sega Saturn game reviews cover diverse titles. Japan Virtual Shock 001, a concert footage game, received positive reviews from multiple groups, praising its graphics and concert experience, with scores of 6 and 7. Thunderstorm and Road Blaster, an arcade port, was lauded for retaining the original atmosphere and improving the experience, scoring a 6. Tokimeki Mahjong Paradise Koi no Tenpai Beat. One reviewer praised its music and customization, scoring an 8, while another criticized the visuals and date mode, giving it a 5. Two other Mahjong games received briefer reviews. One stripping Mahjong game scored a 4 for easy AI and lack of effort. Another 18-plus Mahjong title, possibly the Saturn's last, scored a 6, noting enthusiasm but criticizing aspects of the presentation. Reviews for 4 Sega Saturn games are presented. King of Boxing is praised for its gameplay, graphics, and speed, with female boxer inclusion. Virtual Open Tennis impresses with realistic controls and graphics, though some found the controls clunky. Princess Maker 2, a port of a PC game, receives positive feedback for its enhanced graphics, voice acting, depth, and addictive gameplay. Finally, a recommended, unnamed simulation game is lauded for its longevity, replayability, deep gameplay, and satisfying character development. A side note discusses background graphics, specifically in games with space themes, which enhance immersion. This page reviews 4 Sega Saturn games. Fortune-telling story. Sono Ai is a user-friendly fortune-telling software, good for beginners but lacks depth in its readings. America Yokodan Ultra Quiz is a quiz game with numerous questions, appreciated for its TV quiz show presentation despite some repetition and a slow pace. The Thomason's favorite section focuses on a quiz game, surprisingly enjoyable despite its dated presentation and simple gameplay. Finally, Puyo Puyo Sun 2 is praised for its addictive puzzle gameplay, strategic sun rules, excellent audio, and solid gameplay, making it a recommended purchase for fans. The Psychotron, a mind control adventure, received mixed reviews. While praised for its story and character interactions by some, others found the gameplay unclear and repetitive. Hang On, Jeep 95, a motorbike racer, was seen as accessible but lacking depth. Tadaima Wakusei Kaitakuchu, quote, a resource management game, was criticized for repetitive gameplay and basic graphics. Kaitaku Yaru Hadu ga Senketsu, a planet development title, was deemed overly complex, with unintuitive controls and unclear objectives, resulting in a frustrating experience. Reviews cover several Sega Saturn titles. Sega International Victory Goal gets mixed reactions. Male user enjoys its accessibility and forgiving gameplay, while High Rollers sees it as an incremental update. Guest writers criticize it as a rehash, falling short of expectations. F1 Live Information earns praise for its realistic racing and TV-style presentation. Virtua Fighter CG Portrait Series for Sarah and Jackie Bryant are highlighted, praised for their high-quality CG images, bonus content, and good value for fans. The overall sentiment suggests a focus on simulation games for the autumn season. This guide reveals hidden features and commands for Sega Saturn games. In World Advanced War Steel Iron Battle, FST mode is activated to show only your force's animations. Street Fighter, the movie, features the secret command to play as Guki, Akuma, up, B, down, Z, right, X, left, Y, then circa. Fighting Vipers 2 unlocks R versus Ludwig and offers infinite continues by pressing X, Y, and Z in the options. Side Pocket 2 Legend of Hustler has a sample shot trick in trick game mode, holding R, X, Z, and B while selecting your shot. Completing all trick games unlocks a demo reel. Wrestling games have a viewer mode activated during replays. Y, R, Z. Character names can be set to Kabunoko. Finally, ending credits can be triggered in some games with a specific button sequence. This page highlights even more cheat codes and hidden features for various Sega Saturn games. For Mortal Kombat 2 Ultimate Fighting, There's a test mode that can be accessed by entering a specific button sequence after highlighting Done in the options. This unlocks debug options like 1PVS 2P, Invincible Mode, and Stage Select. Next up is Magical Hopping Papami, where players can enable continues and add an extra player character in story mode by pausing and entering commands at the title screen. For Heavenly Elementary School. Suggestion: Baku Bakans. There are wild horse commands. By inputting specific button combinations on the character select screen, players can use computer-controlled characters. And there's also a hard ending to be seen. There's also a 3 disappearing balls mode enabled via the options screen. Magic Knight Ray Earth has a hidden minigame that can be unlocked by inputting a complex button sequence at the title screen. It involves pressing buttons multiple times and then simultaneously. Finally, Magic Knight Ray Earth 2 features a graphic mode that allows players to freely view the ending scenes they've unlocked by entering difficult as their name at the game's start. The back page lists prizes for sending in cheat codes, with SEGA Saturn software and gift certificates offered for 64, 32, 16, and 8-bit game submissions. This page from CD Bros focuses on photo CD games for the SEGA Saturn and V Saturn. It introduces a few titles, starting with Hero's Ambition from Idea Factory, a photo CD game where you surprisingly play as the monster, setting traps for heroes. It was slated for release around October 10th.
Next up is Mysterious World El Hazard, photo CD data, based on the popular anime. This one from Pioneer LDC offers original artwork and narration from the El Hazard world. Then there's Earth/Mother Star to Children Around the World, a photo CD by Gramus. This is a photographic journey based on Kevin W. Kelly's The Home Planet collection, showcasing Earth from space with commentary. There is also a video/pitch photo request book Neo mentioned, seemingly a video and photo collection. The page also features a small interview segment titled Asking Idea Factory. Idea Factory talks about their dedication to photo CD games, aiming to release 6 titles in total, emphasizing their unique approach compared to regular game companies. They mention user feedback is important and hint at future 32-bit photo CD projects. It seems they are trying to push the boundaries of what photo CDs can offer on the Saturn. SEGA Saturn Magazine is holding a reader giveaway with several prizes. 20 readers can win a SEGA Saturn game released before November 7, 1995. 5 winners will receive Treasure Hunter Lime paper fans, and 2 will get autographed posters, both from Asmic. 3 Bomberman Sugogoma toy sets and 3 marriage posters will also be given away. Finally, 1 person can win Virtua Fighter prize figures from AM2. The page also lists winners from the previous month's giveaway. Additionally, the magazine announces it will become bi-weekly starting November 11th, and the December issue will be released on November 8th. Contact information is provided for inquiries. This page is a preview for Virtua Racing on the SEGA Saturn, announcing its upcoming release in 1995. The advert features the game's logo prominently and states, 95 year-end release confirmed! It also mentions price undecided. Below the main title, there's a visual of in-game locations depicted on island maps, with speech bubbles providing commentary. One location, Kagoshima Island, is described as, which seems to be playful dialect, roughly translating to, it's amazing, isn't it? Another location, Gifu, says, which means, finally it's going to be released, huh? And another location, Osaka, says, which is again dialect and means, I've been waiting for this. Amazing! The bottom of the page includes copyright information for Sega and Time Warner Interactive, suggesting a collaboration for this SEGA Saturn release. Overall, it's a promotional page highlighting the excitement for the SEGA Saturn version of Virtua Racing and its impending launch.
This page is a full-page advertisement for race driving on the SEGA Saturn. It boasts that this virtual racing game is for everyone from the beautiful women of Akita to the spirited men of Kyushu, appealing to the entire nation of Japan. The page uses a map of the Japanese islands with speech bubbles, suggesting regional excitement for the game. A speech bubble near Aomori in northern Japan says, "Release is eagerly awaited, I wonder," and another near Fukushima implies pre-ordering is necessary, saying, "Reservation at the store is necessary, I think." The advert highlights that the Saturn version of Race Drivin' is already on sale and doing well. It asks, "Have you seen the frog car?" possibly referencing a unique car in the game. There's also a Race Go campaign where you can win a special phone card. To enter, you needed to buy the game by October 31st, fill out a questionnaire, and mail it in. This page showcases 2 games.
Firstly, there's SimCity 2000 for the SEGA Saturn, highlighted as an upgraded version of the city-building simulation game. It boasts enhanced graphics thanks to the Saturn's capabilities, promising a more immersive experience. The advertisement mentions that even experienced SimCity players will find new depth and challenges in this Saturn edition. It emphasizes the game's appeal to adults, claiming it stimulates and excites, offering 100% satisfaction, suggesting it's a must-have title, even for mayors or city leaders. The bottom half of the page promotes World Advanced War, Iron Storm, a strategy game also for the SEGA Saturn. It's described as a World War II simulation, where players command armies, navies, and air forces of various nations. The game promises high-resolution 3D polygon graphics and a realistic depiction of warfare, focusing on strategic thinking and tactical decision-making. It notes that the game is based on World War II history,